up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up.
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up. But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener. Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm. Because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
What up, though, people? It's time to Wake Up Woodward. I appreciate you guys for choosing to support the Woo crew today. Hey, you know what? We got 4 to 5 here, 4 to 35, plus the 6-man that dude Justin. Shout out to Flannel Sam, our brother. I hope that vacation is treating you well. I'm hoping that you're finally resting because he started off the first part of his vacation in full-on flannel mode.
He did. Hopefully he's on a beach somewhere, drinking a margarita. Or what are the beach drinks? Not margarita, strawberry daiquiri. Yeah. Oh, that's maybe a little too much flavor for him.
And a flannel Speedo.
And he'll admit he likes the vanilla.
Just get that man a Long Island. Yeah. That's all you need.
All you need.
You know what? And we know he's having a good time because his wife is there. So
there you go.
He speaks about her from time to time on this platform.
I'm staying away from that topic. Yeah. Onward.
Hey, but as always, chat family, you guys are the most important part of this thing. Go on ahead and smash that like button. You know, if you want to be a little bit more kind to, you can satisfy, you can caress it. You know what? Do right by it. Go ahead and hit that like button. Help out the Woo crew today. It's gonna be a good show. It's gonna be a good day. I can't wait. But
whoa,
okay. Snap.
Hey, all right.
Caress the like.
I thought something malfunctioned over here.
Satisfied.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me.
I swear to God. I thought the audio board was blowing up.
The look on your face right there.
Like, what the hell?
It's like, what's going on in my ear? KG's like,
You know what? One more time for the people, man.
Hey, can you guys satisfy that like button?
One more time for the people, man. Hey, KG got some bars?
Hey, layer.
Let me get into the deep voice. This is wild. That's going to remind... We better jump up like 15 likes just because of that.
Hey.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah, we were at like 7, and we went from 7 to 23.
Some freaky ass fans.
Let's go. Let's go.
Some P.D. Pablo.
He told us, too, that he had something special for us.
He goes, I hope you guys don't mind or something. He's, modest JB. I'm going to try something.
Right.
JB, you have full go to try whatever you want. Because that was awesome.
Hey, I'm just putting some stuff together. I thought that was cool. I was like, hey, you know what? Let's give this a try. See if this works.
Oh, yeah. No, that was amazing, bro.
The next move is find out how we can, like, dim the lights a little bit. Or like light a candle backdrop.
Yeah.
Like some flowers, some, set the scene. Make it a little romantic to start the day. There's nothing wrong with waking up with a little romance.
Candles.
Right?
I feel you.
Hey, there's a song about afternoon delight. There's also nighttime songs. What about the morning?
Yeah.
Hey,
I know I have family listening to the show, so that's about the detail I'm going to go into. But what about a little morning love?
I think J. Cole has
in the morning.
I'm sure J. Cole has
I was about to say, I don't know nothing about that, though. That's Friday Night Lights. That. That's a J. Cole mixtape from back in the day, Friday Night Lights.
I hit it in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, role models? Or the mixtape was actually Friday Night Lights?
The mixtape was actually Friday Night Lights.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You know what? For good measure, because it's not 8:05 yet, hit it one more time, JB
Oh, my
Smooth.
God.
One more time.
Hey.
It gets me in that mode.
Please. Set the tone, set the mood.
All you gotta do.
Hey. He's singing.
Yeah, he's singing over here.
That boy can sing.
Would you like some grapes? Bitches.
Hey, man. Look, we throw down every now and then.
While we're in this vibe, I just have a question for you guys. Have you ever gone on Twitter in the morning now that they allow explicit content and you just open Twitter and just see a fat pair of titties in the morning? Because that happened to me this morning and I was like in awe. I was in awe.
You know what? I know when we talk about trade that 5th pick because the Pistons don't need no more youth. Shout out to that dude, Justin, though. We needed this 5th pick. This is the new #1 pick.
Justin never changed. Never change.
Right.
Oh, snap.
You got that playoff beard, the playoff lettuce.
Oh, man.
Bro. Also, happy Juneteenth.
You damn right.
Hey.
Let's go.
Hey.
Let's go.
Let's rock,
Or happy
man.
teenth, as I read.
Yes.
That's not a derogatory. Like, that's
You're in the
another
clear,
way
bro.
to say it, right?
Yep, you are in the clear.
And give me a little bit of a lesson. I know. So Juneteenth represents 2 years, the slaves were free, but it was 2 years after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. What more can I take from it? Like what? Tell me a little bit more about Juneteenth.
Well, I know that today it's really a symbol for taking hold of the freedom that you have. You know what I mean? Obviously, you look back on the historical context of it in terms of the Emancipation Proclamation, the end of the Civil War, where it started in Texas, because there were a lot of rebellious states as well.
Yeah.
That the different armies of the North marched to, of the Union marched to be able to go and make sure that they know, hey, listen, slavery is done away with here. And that was the start of true freedom here. Obviously, the 4th of July, as it relates to Independence Day for this country, it wasn't something that at the time a lot of African Americans could identify with. And so this Juneteenth, this June 19th in history has become a symbol of that freedom. And I'm hoping that more and more people educate themselves on exactly what it is.
That's why I asked.
Yeah, because it's not, in my opinion, it's not to put any other race down or to prop any other race up, but to just bring an awareness to kind of the reality that is our country.
100%.
For its betters, for its worst, for its warts, for its pretty days. This is kind of the foundation of history. And how do we get ahead better if we don't know where we've come from?
Big facts.
100%.
No, I appreciate that.
And you lucky we came into work today.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
It's a pleasure to have you
right?
today, fellas.
sir.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Like where this is going.
I need to. I'm trying to channel that energy. I got one more sort of sad piece of news to deliver, but Justin, never
Sorry.
change it. No. Don't apologize. We need that. We need that. Rest in peace to Willie Mays.
Yeah.
One of the greatest
peace,
baseball
man.
players of all time. Passed away yesterday at the age of 93. He's a legend. Like you might not be a baseball fan. You know the name Willie Mays. You've seen the catch in the Polo Grounds over the shoulder. It's a historic catch. His career began in 1948 with the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro American Leagues. He went on. He was the 51 NL Rookie of the Year, his first year with the Major League Baseball. 1954 NL MVP, 1954 World Series champs. His defense, incredible hitter. I think he hit over 300 for his career. 12-time Gold Glove winner, tied with Roberto Clemente for first all-time. Dude was a legend, was in the MLB for 22 years, 51 to 73. Rest in peace to Willie Mays. Legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's taking a call. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I thought he was trying to say something.
No, hey.
You know what? Let's throw that number out there. 313-552-6322. Once again, the call-in number, 313-552-6322. And, hey, you know what? How's everybody doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
You want to tell the people we're talking about
I would
today?
love to. We're going to do a little bit of Tigers in this next segment, but we're going to spend more time on them tomorrow. Justin's taking us for a drive down Woodward Avenue, showing us a couple different routes this Tigers team could take before the trade deadline. So we're just going to hit on last night's game really briefly in the second segment. 8:30, we're getting back into the top 5 at 5 for the Detroit Pistons. You're going to break down number 4 and a little bit of number 9 before Rod Beard joins the show. And we're going to move our 9 o'clock Woodward Pistons segment up to 8:45. So we're going to talk Pistons from about 8:30 to 9. Then Rod is going to stick with us at 9 o'clock, talk all the sports. We're going to talk Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, obviously Pistons. And then after, we're going to do a little wake and rank. There's a bunch of rankings going on. Actually, some that aren't that bad. But it seems like this is the time where Pete Prisco emerges and, all the different talking heads, they put out their lists of, top 25, under 25. All-Star game. It's not just going to be the Lions. It's going to be MLB All-Star game voting. There's someone I think is getting snubbed at the moment from the Tigers. We'll talk about that at 8:15. There's not a ton of detail in this show. It's Wednesday. I wanted to leave it up to you guys. We're talking Pistons for a good chunk of today's show. So let's have a good one. Let's have a good one, Chad.
Let's have a good one.
Let's go.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Ask your questions. Get your agreements in. Get your disagreements in. It's going to be a good show, man. It
Yes,
is.
sir.
But let me tell you guys about the we got to get into what our layup line.
Yeah, you want to go for a little warm up?
Yeah,
why not? I'm starting with Justin.
Let's do that.
Justin.
Yeah.
Edmonton Oilers, they're not going away easily.
No,
they're not going away easily. 5-3 win over Florida last night in Game 5. What do they have to do to get to a Game 7?
Well, what they got to do to get to a Game 7 is continue what they've been doing, and that is, I was just talking about it in chat with Chase Hamley. Bouchard has been an absolute X factor for them. He kind of makes everything go. McDavid has all this pressure that he puts on defenses, and so does Draisaitl. But what kind of makes it all come together is Bouchard. And McDavid deserves his credit, his flowers. He scored 8 points in 2 games, which is absolutely crazy, even more crazy in the Stanley Cup final. And he's got to keep going off because you're seeing that they aren't deep enough to play against the Panthers in the long run. It's more that McDavid and Draisaitl are just playing out of their mind, and that's how they've won these last 2 games. So it's a combination of they're like B-level guys stepping up, and then also McDavid and Draisaitl continuing to play well. But I said Panthers in 6 originally, so
it's looking like that.
It's looking like they could go close it at Edmonton, which would be pretty hype. But
so the Stars need to show up and perform, and that second group, the B players, not second line, but second group, they got to just continue doing what they've done in these 2 wins.
And Skinner deserves some props. I've been critical on him. Yeah, I've been critical of him and how he's been a sieve in the past, but he's been playing pretty well these last 2 games, so he deserves his credit. But I still do not respect him as a true top of the line NHL goalie.
So kind. Okay. So kind. I never knew. I learned what a sieve was later in life when I went to my first Michigan hockey game, and they're yelling at the
that's
goalie.
A classic chant. I love that.
Yeah, Michigan hockey games are unreal. Mike G, if you're in the chat, I know you know.
Yost Arena. An absolute, the aura is just resonating off the walls there.
Honestly,
so
you feel
awesome.
it through your pores.
Yes.
It just bounces off the walls.
I'm getting chills thinking about it. I played there a few times too. Great place to play. They have really good ice.
Flex.
You know who's... I've been on the ice one time. It was my 5th year. It was about 1 a.m. after a couple cocktails with Brandon Inge, actually.
Oh, really? Wow.
Brandon Inge.
That's a flex.
What? And he was a really good hockey player. Like, I don't know if you guys know, Brandon Inge is an incredible athlete. Like, 360 windmill dunks, like through-the-leg dunks. Wow. Fantastic baseball player. He's a really good hockey player. I remember we skated around for an hour, and I know that the drinks had something to do with it, but I've never been so sore in my life, my legs the next day. Yeah. Like, hockey players, man, I get why they got those tree trunks. Special.
Yeah. Brandon Inge, man.
Kool-Aid,
Used to love
KG, JB, Justin. I didn't realize this was as mainstream until I was listening to the heavyweights last night. I was like, wait, you're kind of right. What do you guys think of Jason Tatum? They were throwing the cringe word around, and I was watching some highlights. I was like, oh, this looks a lot like Kevin Garnett. This looks a lot like Kanye.
Don't put that on KG, man. The other KG, that was a more like genuine moment, man. I know it sounded crazy the way he delivered it, but that was absolutely way more authentic than what Jason Tatum did. It just seems like he was chasing a moment.
It seemed like Jason Tatum did
you said
the exact same thing.
Or moment?
Oh, well, a moment, but he was probably trying to get more than one. So.
Oh, yeah, no, there were multiple, man. You saw, like, it was a couple different reels put together, and it's really cringy, especially kind of leading up to these finals, kind of even this whole entire season, just a lot of his comments and such, trying to sound like, R.I.P. Kobe and all that, and I get it. He grew up with a front row seat to these types of players. He grew up kind of probably idolizing these types of players. It's probably just a part of his DNA. When you look at it on the court, you see a lot of these players, including the greats, have borrowed from their former greats and the ones they grew up watching. I wonder how much of that does kind of translate to the other parts of the game that are kind of off the court too.
But texting Kobe is cringe, bro. He's dead and gone, man.
Wait, what? He did that?
Yeah.
This is like, he did it recently, or this was a couple years ago?
I can't remember. I think it was actually earlier this year. But he said he texted Kobe that this was for you or something like that.
I know the memes have been going around. People finishing,
why not keep that to
responding as if they're Kobe.
It's just weird.
Why do you not keep that to yourself? Like, that is a personal thing. With
if you're who
you say is your personal hero, why do you need the validation of other people when it's supposed to mean something to you?
Thank you.
Facts. I wanted to bring it up. There were some cringe moments, and there is also, it's all in a blender a little bit. I heard some people talking about he wasn't really paying attention to his kid in some of the, after game videos. I was like, I've seen plenty of Jason Tatum, being a good dad. Like that kid is always around. Yeah. So that moment should be take everything with a grain of salt. Everything that you see on TV.
Absolutely.
But the comparison to some of these moments, little questionable.
Yeah, it is not to say he's a bad person. No, this is not a personal attack on Jason Tatum. I think he's a cool guy, but I just think he's a little authentic or maybe tries too hard. That's all.
Yeah.
To try and get those likes, man. But you got your championship now. People really can't say anything to you. Just let it be.
Yeah, go get some more. Yeah. Like, that's what Jason Tatum, I don't think of as that killer, that assassin, or that unaliver, I should say, for the algorithm. Like, go win a couple rings so then you can be put into that category.
Yeah.
I love it. Since we only have a couple minutes to talk Tigers, I'm going to play two. I threw in two, finish the lyrics, just for you guys to get a little trivia to get the day going. These are actually somewhat related to Willie Mays. Okay. So take that for what it is, but this will just be two quick ones. It'll take 60 seconds. Then we'll get into break. Could you throw up that first one, JB, from Kanye West? So remember, this is fill in the blank.
Where did you send it?
Pardon?
Where did you send it? Because I don't think I see it.
I put it in Slack.
Oh, wait. I think I got it. Give me 1 sec.
Should be that first one with Kanye. So again, this is just fill in the blank. I put a bar. I actually kept the title out of this one for a very specific reason, but I need you guys to fill in the blank, the rest of these lyrics. We'll just do two real quick. Again, here's a hint before I even play it. Kind of related, pun intended, to Willie Mays. So we'll see.
One sec. Almost got it.
3, 2, 1.
Did you ever see that Bow Wow clip?
No, you're good.
I forget what award show he was at, but he kept trying to time up like the intro, and he was like, and now.
Yeah. Yep. I don't remember seeing that.
That's another inauthentic person.
Yeah. And it's going to start right now.
There we go.
There it is.
All right, so we can see up on the screen. We got it going on. Let me read this for you since it's
kind of small.
There we go. So this is a Kanye West song. I'm gonna keep the title out. The lyrics are: "Life of a Don, lights keep glowing. Coming in the club with that fresh shit on, with something crazy on my arm. And here's blank 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 blank."
I swear I know this.
Related to Willie Mays, connected to Willie Mays. Let's see if the chat. I know if Freddie Felt's in here. If you guys want a true hint, look down at your chat. Freddie Felt has your answer.
You can't give us the actual song, can you?
No, because it gives away half the answer.
Okay, yeah, it does.
Yeah, right. But related to Willie Mays.
I know this
Another
song.
Baseball player.
I know this song.
Giants.
Barry Bonds?
It's not flashing lights.
That's the name of the song.
Yep.
Check out Freddie Felt in the chat. I need one of you guys to reveal this
Is it Barry Bonds?
Yeah.
Yeah, the name of the song? Yeah.
And here's another hit.
Barry
Bonds.
Yeah, that's my shit.
Here's another hit.
Shout out Freddie Bonds. Yeah.
Freddie Felt's got it. All right, last one real quick. I don't know if you guys are going to get this one. This is John Fogerty. This isn't hip-hop. This isn't country. John Fogerty. I actually didn't. I forgot that this was the artist of this song.
Who the hell?
You might recognize the song. Maybe I'll sing it for you. Maybe I'll sing it.
Ooh.
That leaves, I left the title out too. Oh, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be.
Center field.
Yeah. Now you have to sing it.
Nah.
Come on.
It is. It's center field. I actually didn't even know that was the lyric in there until I started doing some research. But one of the classic all-time baseball warm-up songs. So,
okay, yeah.
All right, there we go. Yeah. Get the brain going a little bit. Right. Let's get into our first break. We're going to come back, just hit on those Tigers for 8-9 minutes before we start talking Pistons.
Yeah. And you know what? I know I got to tell the people about something that is the best.
Do it.
But first, let's put that solo cam on Broder because his shirt is the best.
It is.
We look at
How
that.
How about you and your friends versus me?
Look at that. Look at that.
Game blouse.
Let's go. Perfect.
That's so over.
If y'all don't go ahead and hit that like button and share the stream now, Broder's over here risking life and limb for y'all.
For real, man.
Life and limb.
I'm gonna go back to my place and make some pancakes.
Yeah.
Broder is the best, and you know what? I can tell you about something else that is the best. It is Premier Pet Supply. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers, with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned for over 30 plus years. They carry over 60 brands of food, and they have nutrition experts to help you. They also offer same-day, local curbside, and home delivery. Give your pet the best at Premier Pet Supply or visit them online at premierpetsupply.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years?
What?
You expand, you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did when they added Les Stanford Buick GMC. Still the same great service that their customers have come to know and trust. So go check them out at this new location on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile Road. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. Go to lesstanford.com. That's Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's drive right down the historic Woodward Avenue. Hopefully our sports teams, they also return to glory as well. It's it'll be the perfect thing, man.
It would. And we need April in the D. We need NBA just ended. We need June in the D.
Yeah.
We could have Pistons, Tigers, Red Wings, Lions training camp to look forward to.
Listen, Lions at camp is exciting, right?
It is. Yeah. This is that stretch now, and I'm glad we still got some hockey going on. Stretch between everything finishing, training camp starting, where we got a lot of finish the lyrics, a lot of new segments. This is our time to get comfortable with each other. You're going to learn a lot about us personally. We kind of not slow down the sports content, but maybe we open up a little bit this next month before training camp starts. I'm excited. I
think it gives us opportunity to be able to put more and more of our personalities on display, have a little bit more direct engagement with our chat family as well. Just have some fun.
Yes.
Find a way to bring the personality as well as the sports that I know you all love. And
they're having fun in the chat. Tammy Chin had pancakes this morning. AC might go have a Belgian waffle.
Oh my God.
We're hitting the taste buds. And people are talking about John Fogerty. Phil says Fogerty's still performing. Guitarist, right? John Fogerty.
Yeah.
I gotta go check him out. The old heads, as I'll put myself in that category. Looks like they like the John Fogerty inclusion.
Okay.
Inclusion. I got a lot of hip hop bars.
Yeah.
Because you can get creative. But John Fogerty, center field. Willie May, center field.
Hey.
And Barry Bonds is his nephew. That was the relationship, by the way.
Oh wow. Did not know that.
Might be. But you guys hit that like button. Not romantically at the moment. We'll do that in a second. Satisfy it. But we got Devin the dog on the line.
Yeah, we
got
do.
Devin the dog. He called during the first segment.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, what's up, Devin? You
Pride
all like
of Inkster. What up, though, brother?
Yo. Wake up, fucking Woodward.
Wake up out of your sleep.
Wake up out your sleep.
Let's go.
All right.
This is the energy I need. Let's go.
Yes, this is what I'm going to give you guys a historical fact today, and I want everybody in the group chat to follow along. One of my biggest historical facts that I love and I pride about my family is that my aunt back in the 60s took a one-way trip to Brooklyn, the south side of the Bronx, to pass out vaccines with Huey Newton and the Black Panthers for about 8 years. And with that, she ended up getting an internship to going down to Washington, D.C., and actually was there when the Civil Rights Bill was written. She was one of the special guests of Huey Newton when the Civil Rights Bill was written to represent the Black Panther Party.
Wow,
and
that's dope.
One of my biggest things today, man, chat, go and support a black business in Detroit, man. That this is one day that we get to show our culture. We get to share the love, the family that we have in our culture. Not saying no other culture ain't got that, but when it comes to us, you know, we turn it up a little extra for the holidays. So everybody go support a Black Business Day. Avenue of Fashion is one, if you guys didn't know, in between 8 Mile to 6 Mile over by Detroit Mercy. It is probably one of the hottest places right now for black businesses. Go support, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all all love all around the city. We got the young 97-1 ticket, man. This shit is great, man. When I go to my dad, I'm like, yeah, you know you had the 97-1 ticket, but I got Woodward Sports, man.
Damn right. Man. Talk that talk.
We talk. Hey, look, man, I appreciate all y'all. Y'all have a great week. Hey, Kool-Aid, I went up to Frankenmuth. I ain't going back up there, man. I ain't going back up there, man. I was like, oh, Kool-Aid just went up there last weekend, baby. We can go up there this week. And she was like, yeah, for sure. We went up there. I was like, I ain't coming back here. I'm gonna have to give Kool-Aid. They on the block list.
Hey, you know what, man? Look, one day we got to figure out how we can get the fans together. We go up there. Show you how to get down there, Frank.
Bro, hey, look, man, y'all all invited to a cookout. I'm planning on inviting y'all all. Everybody in the Woodward fam, y'all invited. Right. It's hospitality. Yeah, bro, you ain't got the pass, bro. You got to be for Neil.
Suck it, Neil. Bump that, all right? Yeah, bump that, Neil.
Neil's is still pending.
Oh, man.
Devin the Dog, man.
Hey, we meet next month. We got you, Neil.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, man, that's all I got to say. I appreciate you guys. Let you guys get back to work, kill this segment, and let's fucking go. Wake up, Woodward, every day.
Let's go.
Hey,
8
shout
to
out.
10, Monday through Friday. Tune in, motherfuckers.
Hey, shout out. Happy June.
Hey, we need that on the soundboard. We need that on the soundboard.
Clip that. Yeah. Devin the Dog is about to make it in a clip.
Great call,
Not to encourage people to come in and start dropping F-bombs, but if it comes out naturally, it comes out naturally.
Yeah.
Epic call, Devin the Dog.
Yeah,
that was a really cool story about, he says his auntie or his grandma?
I thought he said his
grandma or
grandma. Yeah, that is awesome. Call in if you guys got stories about your family, about your history, even not today. Call in. We do need to get to this next segment, but the Tigers did lose last night, 2-1. 3 straight games with one run scored.
We suck.
13 runs that game before.
Where's the bat on the desk? Oh, it's missing.
It doesn't deserve to be.
Yeah, we good.
It doesn't. I just want to ask you guys just real quick about Casey Mize. Like he looked a little better at some points, but it was still a weird start. I'm going to quote my guy Scott Bentley, who does the Locked On Tigers podcast. He tweeted out it was an odd start for Mize. He had more swings and misses than we've seen in a while, but still couldn't finish off hitters consistently on 2 straight counts. Also got no called strikes. So no walks and 3 strikeouts. The whiffs are nice, but he's still not fooling anyone. There's something odd about a pitcher throwing 98 with good stuff and he's just not throwing it by somebody. He's not getting swings and misses on his off-speed stuff. Yeah. His splitter's supposed to be good, so I haven't figured it out. I'm gonna break him down. I'm gonna go through some tape to look at Mize. But I just want to throw that out there. If you guys have any comments, before we move on, it was just a weird.
And I did bring this up a few shows ago that, you know, he's becoming more of a contact pitcher, and was that necessarily a problem? Because he does have a lot of good stuff in his repertoire, but if you're not getting people to whiff on it, then what is it all for? Now, overall, I think Casey Mize will be okay in the long term. I'm still standing by my preseason prediction that I'm giving him the year. Whatever he does this year is what it is. He's coming back from Tommy John's. This is the first time that he's had consistent MLB competition. So it is what it is at this point, but you do want to start to see him get better in that department because, like you said, if he's throwing 98, you should be throwing that by guys.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
it doesn't make sense. And Tommy John and a back injury.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're giving him a year. He's got the added pressure being the first overall pick, like Torque.
Of course.
Is he going to be a top of the rotation starter, or is he a middle of the guy?
It doesn't appear that way, but if he can be just maybe a 4 or 5 in your rotation, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
At this point,
we'll talk more Tigers tomorrow. Justin's going to kick off a segment, a fun segment tomorrow. But let's get to break so we can get to our top 5 at 5. Stay on target for Ride coming on at 8:45. Let me first tell you about Dispo Dispensary. They got deals. Too good to miss. They got a team that curates an unbelievable atmosphere and shopping experience so you can try the freshest inventory for Michigan's largest variety of products. So come through their stores or order on Dispo Dash today. That's Dispo Dispensary. DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone. Oh, my purple shirt looks good with this read.
Actually does.
Judgment-free zone. Also, I don't like purple because of the Vikings and those Ravens helmets. Anyways, Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone. Anyone, I mean anyone can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. You're going to experience a squeaky clean gym. They got tons of equipment, a full-body workout area in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get it all for $10 a month. No commitment. It's amazing. I have a Black Card. I go up to $24.99 and get all the amenities: the Hydra massage bed, massage chairs, tanning salons. You bring a guest anywhere you want. You get one free guest. It's epic. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. More than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. So go check them out. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Essential.
What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for kicking off today with the Woo Crew. Shout out to our brother Flannel Sam, the fifth member of this starting five. Hey, the vet of the squad as well. He's on vacation. Hey, can't wait to see you back, brother. And go ahead and smash that like button. Shout out Mitten Maid, too. He said the like button finish off more hitters than mice.
Hey, yo.
Mitten Maid.
He should be striking out like 780 games.
Mitten Maid.
Yeah. Mitten Maid's on fire, by the way. Like, for whatever, his Mitten Maid and John Fisher, their circles, they show up in orange or red, and it just like pops out.
Yeah.
So it's like if Mitten Maid, if they ever put something in the chat, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. But hit that like button, guys. We'd appreciate it. Especially if you think the Pistons are going to win more than 14 games this year, this upcoming season. Hit the like button. More than 14. Please.
We hope.
Please.
We can only hope.
14. I know the Armani and Edwards, they got a hold of this. Paul Brennan tweeted out yesterday, the Celtics have had more playoff wins this playoffs than the Pistons did in the regular season.
Don't got to bring that up.
I know, I'm sorry.
Oh, my God.
Wait to now give your Woodward Pistons intro after I said that, so that doesn't get included in all of our hoopers.
Yeah.
So we'll start it right
now.
Yeah.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We got to start breaking down some more of these top 10 prospects. We got the top 5 at 5 for the Detroit Pistons, as well as the next 5, because you never know what they could do. If they want to trade back, if they want to stay put, if they want to trade to get back into the first round as well.
Hear.
You never know what they could do. Obviously, you guys already know where I stand. I want them to trade the number 5 pick. Not that I don't want them to take any chances in this draft, but trade back. There's a couple different players that, in my opinion, as it relates to the positions of need, there's some depth there. You're going to have your chance to get a 6'8", 6'9", 6'7", type of 3-and-D potential wing guy. You're going to have that. And one of the questions I'm going to ask Rod during our Woodward Pistons segment, because it could change the way that you look at this big board here, is should the Pistons, I'm not going to talk about it now, but should the Pistons put a point guard next to Cade Cunningham, a high-level point guard?
Like a Darius Garland?
Maybe like a Darius Garland. We saw the effect that a guy like Chris Paul has had now with multiple teams, with the Clippers, with the Rockets, as well as with the Phoenix Suns, who all had ball-dominant players. But we saw that having a high-intelligent kind of point guard next to a player like Cade, who actually his efficiency shooting-wise goes up when he's an off-ball guard, I wonder how much that could help or hurt the Pistons. And then it does change things as it relates to this draft board in terms of the types of players you look at. I know JB is one of the guys that is big on a Stephen Castle. So, it kind of changes things. Rob Dillingham. These dynamic players at the point guard slot, what you need with the Cade Cunningham playing maybe the 2 or the 3 as it relates to a traditional offense. So, yeah. But, yeah, look, with the big board, one player that I think is going to be taking a move up next week when I change this thing up a little bit is Donovan Clingan. I do. I really like what he brings to the table. You said it yesterday as well. By the minute, you're becoming more and more of a fan of Donovan Clingan. And I like what he brings to the table, but you got to figure out what you're doing with a Jalen Duren, because I don't know how they necessarily mesh unless Jalen Duren takes a step forward with his development as a 4 that can at least pick and pop from like the 16-foot range, like a McDice type of a guy.
Oh,
yeah, you got to be able to space the floor somewhat. You got a guy in Donovan Clingan who is going to cause some havoc in the paint defensively and bring you some stability on the offensive side as it relates to pick and rolls, and as it relates to dives to the rim, as it relates to just overall getting you some rebounds and some putbacks. So, but the player we are talking about today is Matas Buzelis. This is a 6'10", 209-pound small forward. He played in the G League Ignite. All the promise that he had kind of before the G League Ignite surrounded the fact that he had some good defensive foundation, could shoot the cover off the ball. He was shooting 40% before he got to the G League from behind the arc. He could play make, he could handle, he could get into the mid-range. Matas Buzelis, he's a very, very, very versatile guy. I know that when people first heard his name and heard the connection to the Tellum family, a lot of people say, oh boy, is this just the Tellums looking to try and kind of look out for their own right now? I don't have a problem with having a super agent on this team within this organization and having kind of their perspective if it helps. Matas Buzelis does look like a player who could help. And where I'm most excited about him when we talk about like a lot of his strengths and weaknesses is what he can bring on the defensive side.
Okay.
But we got to talk first about his stats. 11.8 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists, 1.3 blocks per game as well. 48% on 9.4 field goal attempts per game, and 22% though from behind the arc. Everything with his mechanics looks sound. But what winds up happening sometimes with players like that have this kind of high release point that he does, when you start to take those steps back, like from your high school age to the NBA game, when you get with the G League, those types of releases start to get flattened out a little bit, and it changes up what your mechanics are doing, or the type of effect that your shot is having. And so I don't know what has to happen or them to figure out, because this to me is the selling point. Can he be a reliable 35% plus 3-point shooter? Is that something Matas Buzelis can do? Can he return the form? From everything that I'm reading and seeing from a plethora of different scouts, people I've been able to talk to, people who've done reviews, is that the mechanics are there. You can tell, when he shoots, it looks good. His shot looks good. His mid-range looks really good. but something's happening and he's taking that step back behind the three. I do believe that adding NBA strength, getting in with NBA trainers, sometimes it's just about the strength that you have the further away you get from the rim.
Especially being so tall. He's 6'10", right?
Yep.
Like, his mechanics look really good. I'm watching some of these highlights even. He's proportionate, like his body is proportionate. So it looks like he can fill out still at 6'10", 19 years old. And sometimes with tall guys, especially if I don't know what the history of his growth spurt is, like how recently he got tall, but your shot, especially the farther out you get, if you're not strong enough yet, if you're not learning to use your legs enough yet, that shot's flat the farther you get deep.
Yep.
You're up there, so you think you can just shoot it straight, but you still got to get some arc on it. Porzingis is a perfect example of a great 3-point shooter, a guy who's just an absolute monster.
Yeah, hey, look, when we used to see a guy in Rasheed Wallace shoot, when he was on, it was when he was really getting that arc going, and sometimes when he was cold, he was shooting more line drive.
Yeah,
and so I'm hoping that if this is a guy that's on the Detroit Pistons radar who does present a lot to like, a whole lot to like, that they can figure out this 3-point shooting with him. Just kind of going through it now as we get beyond that. His strengths: defense, rim protection, good help side defense as well. A guy who has an instinct, a feel for kind of setting players up, and then being able to still get the block or to be able to deter the shot. Where he's going to have to improve when we're talking about defense is kind of being the man-on-man defender. He has the skills. He has the footwork. He has the talent. He has to get a little bit more quick laterally. And he has to get a little bit more quick as well when guards or wings are trying to walk him down or get downhill on him. Sometimes the speed in the back pedal and his ability to be able to shuffle, it's not as proficient. So these are things when you're talking about Matas Buzelis, I would like to see him improve on defensively as he gets into the NBA game, especially facing NBA talent. I'm glad that he got a taste of NBA talent in the G League. Like, he had some pretty good highlights against Stanley Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
We know is a guy who got to the league. He showed some promise. Things didn't work out because he had some really, really big personal issues kind of going on behind the scenes. Some very personal family issues that I do believe affected his mental, and he's talked about that. But Matas Buzelis put up some good tape against a guy like a Stanley Johnson, which shows, okay, he's going to be able to deal with the physicality a little bit, but you want to see him get stronger, and you want to see him be able to better defend those types of players.
You talked about Dalton Connect yesterday. Why is he 4 and Dalton Connect's 5? Like, what are some of those?
Defense first.
It's defense?
Defense first. Yeah, because I look at the shooting of Dalton Connect, and I'm just like, man, I really covet that. But the versatility of Matas Buzelis, the only part of his game where I'm looking at him saying, yo, you really have to improve that, is a 3-point shooting. Everywhere else throughout this game, I'm like, okay, he has potential there, he has potential there, he has potential there. And I know that potential is not everything, but when you're picking that high, the reason why these are the players that are generally mocked at the top of these drafts, Alexander Sarr, Zachary Risache, is because of the high level potential they bring as these 6'9", 7-foot type guys that can potentially handle the ball, shoot the ball, play in the pick and roll, lead the transition, finish the transition, defend 1 through 5, defend well in the pick and roll. This is the type of player that he has the potential to be, and he checks all those boxes. It's just a matter of who he's going to be as a worker. This is my question for him, because I have questions for each one of these prospects. You knew that you were going from high school to the G League. What happens in between that you're not working all off season? And maybe he was, but what happened in that training or in those sessions that it just didn't translate to your next season? Because is this going to be something that follows him to the NBA, where, hey, you know what, he's always showing potential, but maybe in the offseason, he's not putting forth the work, or putting forth the work and it's just not producing the necessary gains to make the improvements that are needed and for him to be a productive player.
And I have a question for you, because I was about to bring up 3-point shooting. He has a 27% 3-point percentage. Do you think that can improve? Because you've seen that the shooting is so lackluster on this team. It's hard to kind of sell me on, let's bring in someone else who can't necessarily shoot.
You just helped me connect the potential dot. Now, we've heard the Pistons linked to Matas Buzelis, but who did the Pistons also just hire to the coaching staff? Fred Vincent from the Pelicans, and his claim to fame is
fixing Lonzo Ball.
Fixing Lonzo Ball and a couple other different people with their 3-point shot. So I know that the Pistons, they already need a lot of help already with the current players that they have here. whether they wind up trading them or not. You want these players to be at their peak and to be able to have their best value. But with Buzelis, maybe there's a little bit of thinking there that if you do draft him, you got some people here that can both develop him strength-wise as well as get his mechanics right to the NBA game. Because maybe, whoever he was training with to get to the G League, maybe they didn't have the right strength and development plan. I know sometimes with players that are still growing, still developing, still have a chance at their growth spurt, sometimes you don't want to hit that maximum because it can stunt that. So you never know what he could be. He has a lot of handle. He has a lot of wiggle to his game. And I feel like whoever's working with him was probably trying to protect that. Give him his best ability to become, like, even if he can get to Alexander Sarr 7 foot and still handle the rock the way he is, so kind of have the mechanics shooting-wise the way he does. Yeah, because you see it. He can hit the mid-range. He shot like 47, 48% on mid-range attempts. He shot a good percentage from the free throw. It's just you step out further, and now he's coming up short. That, to me, shows that there's something wrong with the strength. So I think you get that NBA strength and development going with Matas Buzelis. I believe that will help him in his point of attack defense as the man-on-man defender. I do believe that this will also supercharge what I believe will be a help side and an off-ball defense that will help this team immediately. Immediately. You don't have to wait. And if you're talking about keeping a Jalen Duren, he's the type of player that if his shooting works out, that would be a really good pairing, especially defensively. But I want to know that he has that motor, that he's going to work and do what's necessary.
And he dropped that McDice reference on me.
Hey.
Like, I would love to see that type of offensive game from Jalen Duren. He's much more athletic. Antonio McDice was athletic when he first came into the league the first even 5-10 years of his career. And then, he got the Chris Webber effect. He was just kind of an old 6'10" power forward. But he still had that mid-range jump shot at the end of his career, even when he was with the Pistons. I would love to see that out of Duren. I didn't mean to cut you off, Justin. Did you have something to ask?
Yeah, I'm so curious because the other, 4 guys around him on this board all are, to some extent, a more proven shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only 19, and so he's obviously going to grow into his body.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of where my true concern is.
Hello,
but it's so hard for me to get on board to bring in another person who can kind of shoot. But I get the coaching thing, but yet again, how many times can you truly just straight up fix a player and get the shooting right?
Well, you know what? That's the question. The next question literally on the list, man. And it's not even like I prepped the questions with you, but those are the questions that naturally came to my mind as well. It's like, how long can you wait for him to figure this out? The reason why you do take a look is because that drop is so unprecedented from the 40% before to the 22%, and that they can see he has good shooting mechanics. He can shoot well everywhere else. That if you believe it's your strength, you take the kid. If that's all that it is. If it's truly a mechanics thing plus a mental thing, like we saw with oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank? But the point guard, the point guard, the Philadelphia Simmons, Ben Simmons. How much of that was a mental thing with him, plus the mechanics? It's like when you get down that type of a tunnel, it can get bad. If you think it's just strength and development, I think he's worth taking a chance on. But you're right. The other players around there, they have discernible skill sets as it relates to shooting that 3 ball pretty well. Him, I like his mix of being able to be an effective defender right now, help side and on ball, his ability to get in transition, his ability to, because you got to think about it, he's going to be handling the rock against other forwards, or you're going to have a smaller 3 that's going to defend him. So he could present some mismatches. It's just a matter of kind of the point that you raised and the question I have here. How long do you wait for his potential? Or are you sure that he can give you starter level traits right now? Maybe not all across the board, but defensively, can he provide you something? In the pick and roll, where I believe he's been really good, what can he provide you there? Those types of things that kind of seamlessly fit into any type of a motion offense. But to fit Monty Williams' offense, he does need to get a little bit quicker with his decision making, because Monty runs that 0.5 second offense. You got to be able to make up your decision to pass, cut, or shoot within 0.5 seconds.
And one more thing. It's just, with how the current NBA is, you see guys even take stints in the G League, and then they come up like Cam Whitmore, and he averages around 14, 15 points per game and is a rather effective player for the Rockets. And I guess my expectation now when drafting in the first round is that if you are a good drafting team and you do your research, they should make an impact their rookie year. We shouldn't be looking at them developing all rookie year. So I guess where the question comes from is, can we expect, if we do take Matas Bazelis, I'm sorry if I butchered his name, will he make impact even if it's 3/4 of the way through the season and you can see that there is a level that is going up and you can see that how good he could possibly be for this team?
You know what? I'm going to answer that question right after the break. And we got the legend Rod Beard on the way as well.
We do.
Hold that question because that is a good question, man.
And before you give that read, shout out to the G League Ignite and Matas Bazelis, their Twitter, for those clips that we were playing while you were breaking them down. Awesome got to give him credit.
He looks good, man.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to Rod about this draft process. There's been some good questions in the chat. I haven't asked you yet, about the draft. Are you worried that Trajan Langdon, we haven't heard from him yet?
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys.
I'm still holding out hope that we get our announcement this week about the press conference happening soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Cool. We talking about all the shows coming on this network throughout the rest of the day.
I will. And you guys already know what. It starts off with Wake Up Woodward. And we appreciate you guys for sticking it out. Hey, look, we're on the bottom bar right now. 8 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday with the Woo crew. That's Flannel Sam, KG, JBSMOOOOOV, that dude Justin, Broder, and myself, Kool-Aid. But after us, you guys got to stay tapped in with all of Woodward Sports, starting with Big D Energy from 11 to 1, 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty alongside his co-host, the Golden Voice, Neil Wu. After that, Armani and Edwards with Maz from 2 to 4, the lovable radio legend Tom Mazway with University of Michigan legend and former NFL wide receiver Braylon Edwards and Detroit Media King, Fox 2, Ryan Armani. After that, you got to end the day with the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7 p.m. That's the big fellas, man. Spin more racks, speak easy, baby. Alongside their elite booth, they got Nick Koloff, Chris Platty, holding things down to bring you the biggest interviews, the biggest breakdowns, and the biggest laughs. It is the Woodward Heavyweights. Most importantly, we appreciate you all and your support for making us your #1 digital sports network. Thank you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Drive into summer and drive into savings during Feldman Chevrolet's biggest Memorial Day sale ever. We're stocked with new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs, all priced to move. Like this 2024 Silverado for only $217 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $199 a month. Find your freedom in a Feldman at the Memorial Day sale going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Are you dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues? Well, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham, they'll have your back. They got 10 plus years of experience and they're available to you, their client, 24/7. So scan the QR code above my head on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you and KDK Law will pay your filing fee. That's right, KDK Law, they'll have your back.
Let's rock. What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off the day with the Woo crew.
Let's go.
And we got the legend with us as well. We're going to switch things around.
Love this segment.
Got the Woodward Pistons segment so we can kind of finish out the draft talk. And I got to ask Rod this question about Chauncey Billups. I would love that.
You talk Chauncey anytime you guys want.
Yeah. But Cade Cunningham and needing a point guard that can have an effect on the team like the Chauncey Billups. As well as got to talk to him about Miles Bridges. It continues to be a name that percolates. But you know what?
I like that word.
We'll introduce Rod, and then I'll answer Justin's question, then we'll get into Rod's.
Do I get on the drum roll today?
Yes, sir. Everybody should always get in on the drum roll. Let's welcome the legend in. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend, Detroit News, Rod Beard. What up, though, brother? Welcome to the show. Happy Juneteenth as well, brother.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Rod?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We made
it. We made it to Wednesday.
We did. We did. They don't call it hump day for no reason. We're almost there. I'm assuming we're maybe going to get a press conference announcement in the next week. Is that something from your experience that we should expect?
Hopefully.
Before the draft.
Question. Do we know for sure that Flannel Sam is not the GM?
We don't.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
We can't confirm.
That is the absolute holdup to this whole thing. We're waiting on Flannel Sam to get his demands out of the way, his contract demands.
Oh man!
Right. I don't know if you saw he went after Jazz Chisholm on Twitter today. They were earlier this weekend.
Friday.
They were going back and forth. Flannel Sam, that man stands on his business.
He was on vacation too, and Jazz Chisholm actually hit him back. And Flannel Sam, hey, stood on business, as Broder said. But you know what, Rod? I'm gonna get to Rod's thoughts real quick. That dude Justin had a little bit of a conversation that was kind of telling from our draft prospect breakdown. I wanted to spare you a lot of that conversation. But Justin, did you want to tee up your question again?
Yes, I will.
TJ, let's go.
Tell us everything you know about Mataz Buzelis.
Let's go.
All right.
No, don't.
First of all, Mr. Beard, pleasure to meet you. I've never been able to be in the chair on a Wednesday, so first of all, it's a pleasure. Second of all, my question for Kool-Aid was, with Bertellus being 19 years old and a lot of rookies coming in this modern day NBA and being able to have a first-year impact, what if we were to draft him, when would that return kind of hit? Would he be able to come in right away and make an impact, or would it maybe be in the back end of the season, or are we looking at a multiple-year project?
Hey, and you know what? That's why Rod has been kind of the champion of the TTP, the trade that pick, that campaign, because you're right. With all of these players, there's like high potential. Once you get beyond like the first 3 or 4 prospects, you're looking at college guys that you kind of know who they are. We don't know what their game is going to translate to, but with the potential thing, how many more guys can you kind of wait around for? Because right now the shooting is the biggest question mark. His defense, I do believe, will make an impact. He has good help side defense. He uses his length effectively to deter shots.
Great size.
He has good, kind of like a fast jump. So even if you get around him, he can still get up and be able to block the shot. So I like what he brings from that standpoint. He understands basketball rotation. Like, he understands how to rotate the ball, how to pass, hit the cutter, how to cut. Like, he just has that instinct. So I do believe he will contribute. But as it relates to contributing at a high impact, that's where I don't know. And if you do take somebody like a Buzelis, then you have to think about making sure you don't have too many of these, hey, well, we're just waiting for these guys to get going on the roster. So that's the thing. If you bring him in, are you also shipping out some other younger players if he's going to be somebody you have to wait for? So,
well, I'll amend it a little bit. It's TATP. Trade all the picks. I don't.
That's what I'm talking about, Ryan.
Nobody.
You don't even want the second rounder,
right?
I love it.
It's like the amusement park. If you're not taller than this stick, you can't come on this. You can't play on this roster. And so if you're not 21, you can't play on this roster. You don't need any more 19 or 20-year-olds. If you unless you are ready to play tomorrow.
Yep.
If you're not a rookie who can step in this starting lineup tomorrow and play, no, trade them all. Trade all of the picks. You can trade them for a 2028 second round pick. Trade this year's second round for a 28 second round, because at least at that point you'll be ready to bring somebody on.
Right.
This number 5 pick, traded for the best vet you can get. I don't want to pay anybody else.
Yep.
I don't want another young guy who's going to take more time. The best case scenario, if you do draft somebody, is you just leave them in the G League and let them develop there for a year or two and just leave it alone. There's nobody who's going to come in. Maybe Dalton Connect. Maybe.
Oh my
who
God.
can come in and provide something that you need immediately. That's the only way that I'm drafting somebody in this class, is if they can come in and play immediately.
Rod, you were preaching, brother. You were preaching. And it's heat. And that's, we talked about Dalton as well, being 23 years old. We asked, is there a man in this draft who can kind of step in right
Older
away.
than 19.
I believe Dalton
19,
Connect is that
absolutely.
guy. Yeah, I do. I believe Dalton Connect is that guy. I do like Donovan Clingan if there's another guy. But outside of that, you're right. With Amadas Buzelis, I like the potential. Do I want to wait around for it? I don't. I just don't. I believe you have the right opportunity to strike right now. We're hearing more and more players are becoming disgruntled. I believe I saw Evan Sittery. He posted this morning. I don't remember who had the original report, but that OG Anunoby now is going to test free agency.
Hey-o.
We know that this was a player that was also linked to the Pistons around the trade deadline, that they might have interest because that's a position of need for them. They got a boatload of money. They can throw all the dollars. They can back up whatever Brinks truck he wants to the table and say, hey, listen, we need you here. We want you here. We like what you could be with the Cade Cunningham. And me personally, I would almost rather go out and pay all the money for that than to wait for potentially somebody to get it going within a year or two. The Pistons are at a point right now where you want to take advantage of the window in which Cade Cunningham is signing this big extension that's been rumored. Yeah, how long do you sit with him having this big extension? You say, well, let's just be patient for this whole next contract. You can't do that because you got how many other young players, since they did get a lot of young talent, that are going to be sitting around saying, well, we want to raise too. Even if they're not getting the max, they're going to want something that is kind of requisite and represents what the market is for those young players, getting paid on their potential ahead. And so you're putting yourself in a position where I believe you got to go out there and you got to strike, whether that's going out there and overpaying for somebody, whether that's going on there and getting a retread like a Jeremy Grant. If you're talking about those kind of versatile 6'9", 6'10" guys that can kind of give you that two-way ability, I'd rather go get somebody and pay for somebody that is proven in this NBA than to sit around and wait. And I think that's kind of what your point was getting at, Justin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Rod, do you have any Rod's thoughts too? Kick this thing
out. It is and this thing was making the rounds on Twitter too. That as much as people talk about missing in the draft, and the Lakers could have had both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but you never really hear that talked about. And it wasn't until I started seeing stuff on X this year, on Twitter this year. But as many as the draft misses, the Pistons missed this guy, everybody missed that guy. People don't talk about the Lakers, and the Lakers could have had both of those. And Philly traded out of getting Jason Tatum. So for the people that say the draft is everybody misses on the draft, or only a few teams miss on the draft, it's even the good teams like Philly and like the Lakers who miss out on these superstars. And that's the top of the draft. Those are top 3 picks that were just missed on. And those guys end up teaming up to be able to win an NBA championship. So the draft is really just, you've got to have the right people in place. And I think that's where Trajan Langdon has to make the right decision here on his GM. And if you look at the calendar, the draft is next week.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't have their GM in place and the rest of their scouting crew in place and really know what they're going to do, what does that say? I mean, I don't know how much he was able to do in New Orleans before he came here in terms of his draft prep, but who's making the draft decisions right now? Who's putting together a draft board today?
Jeez,
right. They don't have a front office in place. So, I mean, that's saying something to me that maybe they're looking at trading the pick. It suggests maybe they're looking at trading the pick and trying to figure out what they're doing with this roster. And I know I said weeks ago that that they hadn't done anything. I thought that Troy might stay because of that. But now it's a week from today, and we're talking about there's no GM in place. We don't know what their draft strategy is going to be. We don't know if they have a draft board. That's saying a lot. That's still saying a lot.
That's a great observation by you. And kind of before I ask you this next question, kind of staying on the Trajan Langdon topic, I did hear via a source that this hiring of Trajan Langdon is supposed to really restore basketball operations and what's happening with the GM and everything else underneath with the roster construction and such and coaching directly to Tom Gores and allow Arn Tellem to focus more on the business development and the business side of things. So it kind of restores, I believe, the more of the traditional front office structure that we saw underneath the Joe Dumars era. But we want to see the rest of this front office, to your point, come together because the draft is next week. And you're right. That is a good observation. Maybe they are leaning towards trading this thing. Maybe that's what Trajan Langdon right now is at the very least scouring for. I would assume with this position, he would have even a better feel on what other teams maybe want over what prospects are doing, which I know a lot of times you're relying on your scouts to do that. So I don't know how much scouting he was doing in this last position, but I do know that he had some type of relationship with teams and what their needs were as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But I saw someone in the chat say it. Here we are. Terrell Lamar. How many times we got to go through this? Get some player that's supposed to fix things, but it never materialized. Man, and you know what? Yeah, that's a mouthful, and it kind of speaks to the strategy of this Detroit Pistons. I guess third rebuild attempt now, and as many attempts as many times.
Did the rebuild ever stop?
I don't know, man. This is it's an ongoing thing. It's helping to shape at least the way that I look at this and cover this as well. But we know that they need a couple different players, and we've been looking at this from a standpoint of Cade Cunningham running the show and putting more and more players around him. And I do believe that Cade Cunningham is still the straw that stirs that drink. But do you believe that there is a path, or do you believe that there is some good to maybe adding a high-level or high-potential point guard alongside Cade Cunningham and moving him off ball where he has more efficient offense? Or do you believe the ball needs to be in his hand and that usage rate still needs to be what kind of drives the Pistons?
I can see it. His usage rate can probably go down a little bit. He needs somebody else to be able to handle and create. I think he can shoot better, but if you're not bringing in a slew of three-point shooters, he can be a better shooter, but I don't know if you want him necessarily spotting up. And if he's not handling, who is? That's really generating offense, setting people up. I still think the best Cade Cunningham is something like a 27-7 or an 18-7-7 type player, with a lower usage rate than what he has. I think there are other things he can do to impact the game, but it's just, you tell me who you get. Are you getting a Trae Young? Does Trae Young come in and make this team better immediately? Possibly. You need a quick, good defender as the other guard to pair with Cade, who can create, who can do some other things.
Like Darius Garland.
I mean, yeah.
I would love a Darius Garland.
If you is Cade a bigger version of Jalen Brunson? Not super quick.
That's a good comparison.
But he has kind of an old man game that he gets to his spots and he can finish around the rim. Is that an apt comparison?
I like it, actually.
Maybe. And if that's what he is, then yes, he's a point guard. You don't need to be the traditional fast and get to the rack and finish. You don't need to do all of those things. There's more than one type of point guard, and maybe he is a 6'6" Jalen Brunson. I would take that. So I think when people look at, is Cade a point guard? And I've talked to some people who have said maybe he's not a point guard, and maybe you need a different type of guard to put around him, that Ivy isn't the answer there. And I can listen to that conversation, but is he a point guard? Yeah. Does he need more pieces around him? Yes. That's a definite yes.
Yep. And you know what? It does. It has major implications, because if you do believe that you need to put a point guard in a lineup with the Cade Cunningham, you know, how much more dynamic and how much more kind of elite of a step forward does Jaden Ivey have to take to warrant still being on that type of a roster? And that type of a lineup, you're probably looking to go a little bit bigger on the wing with a versatile 3-and-D guy, so that they can also be, if you're not having a star starter, whether you are, being the people that can also take Cade Cunningham's defensive usage rate down, as well as make sure that whatever point guard you have, since now your lineup presumably will get shorter in that case, that point guard also doesn't have too big of a defensive responsibility either. So it's I don't know, it's an interesting thing. You hear kind of these rumors. You hear some of the people that are going to be available. You've heard about the Pistons connection to the Hawks and Trae Young. You hear about the Darius Garland becoming available type stuff. And this makes you think sometimes, especially when you look at someone like a Chris Paul, who's gone to several different teams now where they've had already ball-dominant guards or ball-dominant players on those squads, but he's been able to kind of supercharge those offenses. I think even specifically to the Phoenix Suns and Devin Booker, who his usage rate was really high, 27 to 30%. when they got Chris Paul in there and they instituted that 0.5-second offense, his usage rate went down like 22, 23%, but all his efficiency from a shooting standpoint went up, and he actually wound up attracting and getting more foul calls, which was an interesting thing to me. And so at first I thought it was mainly just the 0.5-second offense, but you add someone like a Chris Paul to the mix, and I think it just put him in even better position to score, a better position to kind of see what the defense is doing, to read and react, and things of that nature, as well as stay more fresh. Did you have a point on that?
I'll say this too, and as we're looking at what free agents they can bring in, I think you start to look at a combination. I don't know if they can go and get one addition and make that everything. So if you're looking at a 4, can you trade for Jeremy Grant? Can you go get Tobias Harris for a reasonable number? Is it Kelly Oubre or somebody of that, like a Buddy Hield? But it's the combination. You can't say there's one person. Is Jeremy Grant the answer by himself? No. Can you go get him? If you go get Gary Harris or Buddy Hield, let's say Buddy Hield and Tobias Harris, do you feel better about the roster at that point?
No. I mean, they're
so
NBA players,
it's a combination of things. Right, but so I don't know if this free agency group has one player answer. It's a combination of tell me the 2 or 3 guys that you're spending your $60 million on, and I can feel better about it. I mean, I'm still very much Brandon Ingram or Zach LaVine as those are game changers. Yeah. Those are the top tier guys, and maybe even Jeremy Grant. If you tell me it's Jeremy Grant and Buddy Hield or Jeremy Grant and something like that, I feel okay. Well, you got some shooting, you got that big athletic 3-4 that you need. But I also think there's a vet presence to this that has to be part of the answer. That it's not just going to get one guy, and that's the point I want to make. I don't think that one guy that you pay $40 million to is the answer, and I don't think he's there anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the way that they have to look at free agency. Is it's a several layered thing that can help to make that happen.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you pointed out that distinction as well. It's going to take multiple really good signings, as well as step forwards from the players that you choose to retain, like Cade Cunningham, and we assume someone in Fontecchio as well. And KJ, I know you had a question?
Yeah, I did. Morning, Ryan. Happy Juneteenth to you. And I totally agree. Yeah, appreciate it. And I definitely agree. It's definitely going to take more than one player. But a lot of people have been screaming about Brandon Ingram, possibly coming here via trade. I don't know exactly how realistic that is. I would like to see it happen. But one name that I brought up a couple weeks back was Miles Bridges. And this is a guy who is a local kid. I feel like he fits what this offense can be. Like, his skill set would fit perfectly next to Cade. And over the last 2 seasons that he's played, he's averaged about 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. That's nothing to sneeze at. Of course, we know about the off the court issues and things of that nature, but I feel like he may be an option that you can add to this team without spending a lot of money, and you can still apply money to other areas of the team. What do you think about Miles Bridges as possibly one of the options to add to this team?
If you told me Troy Weaver was still the GM, I would say they would go definitely no, and I still might say definitely no. I think it's the off the court stuff is really big, and they try to pride themselves on being a very conscientious team, socially conscious team as well. The other side of that is they need talent, and sometimes you can just sort of forget about that. And if he's contrite and if he's shown that he's gotten past all of that stuff, then people may forget. But this might be the place, because people know him as a Spartan, and there's some forgiving nature within that if there is a place that he could go and he could sort of water under the bridge, I think this could be it. It's a good point. But I just think from an ownership standpoint, they just may be a little hands off and just say, we're not touching that.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question as well, because that was a perspective that I wanted to be able to get from you, Rod. Is just, how is something like this? How do you handle something like this? We know that pro sports is a league of not just second, but third, fourth, fifth chances, and we've seen it. We've seen it with players here in the past. We even took on a guy. We had bombastic and guys like Rasheed Wallace, even who I don't want to compare necessarily the two because he didn't have like the off court stuff, but just in terms of guys that get those second chances, get those opportunities to have their images kind of revitalized. We've found that to happen in this league. And so I don't know. It's a hard case, especially with kind of what's going on and what has happened within the Pistons organization and what they're trying to stand for and the type of tolerance that they are or aren't trying to have for that. It leads me to believe that they would steer away from that. But I told KG and these guys yesterday, from a talent standpoint, Miles Bridges would instantly help this Detroit Pistons team.
And he's cheaper.
He is cheaper. It's not just what one player would do, but you get him and a couple other players in here along that same talent level or better, you're looking at an improved Detroit Pistons team.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember, and I think it was weird when they made the Blakeman trade. The players they got was Willie Reed, and he had a domestic violence charge right around that same time, and I think they released him like immediately. He was on the roster. I think he had that charge, and then they just like, no. So you can look at past history and say, how do they handle these other incidents when players have a domestic violence case? And that can give you some indication of which way they might go. And I remember that there were two other pieces in that Blake Griffin trade. I think Willie Reed was one of them. He had a case, a charge, and they just like immediately released him right after that. And I think I remember it that way.
Okay. But no, hey, Rod, I appreciate you for the Pistons talk as always, man, getting the Rod's thoughts off. I thought that we had some really, really good, cool and good dialogue. You got time for a second segment?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's rock. Hey, you know what? Hey, so let me tell the people first about something awesome, and then we'll get back to the legend, who is the most awesome, that is Rod Beard. But awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Just stop in, sit back, and relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented hairstylists make you look and feel great. Every now and then, when we go to that dude, Justin, towards the end of the show, you can see some of these Lady Jane's girls. You can see some of the clients. And you can understand exactly what I am saying, man. They make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. It's Lady Jane's, and it's wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. Say that 3 times in a row. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed because it is technology that is backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. All you got to do is call this number right here. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number is 1-800-STAY-OUT. What up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. We got to always ask the Rod Father about his kind of perspective and his viewpoint as well on all things Detroit sports.
Yes. Before we get there, though, since Rod is still on the line, our Woodward Pistons segment is done, so that'll be up on Woodward Pistons YouTube. So I can call you out. I got to point this out, Rod. I know we're not going to get into individual prospects, but Kool-Aid's breaking down a top 5 prospects at 5, 1 through 4, all 19-year-olds. Number 5 is 23, so it averages out a little bit, but 19-year-olds.
Number 5 is Dalton Connect. Number 5 is number 1. We're going to flip this whole deal.
Yep.
Flip it.
Yep. And that's why Dalton Connect is 5, because the Pistons pick at 5. I'm trying to get that mojo going there. So,
there you go.
We're going to make it work, man. I love it. But we got a couple questions to ask you as it relates to our Around the City segment.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got one for you because it seems like one of the most hyped up competitions in Detroit sports in recent memory. That is a kicker battle on the Detroit Lions. We haven't experienced something like this since Kickalicious. Jake Bates is now a member of the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Big time
what do you think
acquisition.
about this, Rod?
Big time acquisition.
I didn't have Kickalicious on the bingo card today of things that I would hear, but here we are.
Here we
It's an important position, obviously, and Jake Bates, I think they were waiting around to see if how he looked throughout the season. And after that first game, he made a 64-yarder, and people were all goo-goo over that. But you have to do your due diligence and make sure, hey, is this just a fluke? Is this a soccer kid who made a couple and then just kind of fizzled out after that? No, Jake Bates had a good season for the Panthers, and now you want to see, can this carry over? Put him in an NFL training camp. And he's kicked in the NFL in training camps before, but see if this is your answer. I mean, do you feel really good about Batchley? You feel okay, but you always want to give him some competition. And so I think it's good to see that he's getting an opportunity, but then also you're looking to improve your kicking game.
Yep. And you know what? With the addition of Jake Bates to this kicker competition, we kind of bantered about it, and I know KG has been adamant about this as well.
Damn right.
About the impact this can have on the decision-making of Dan Campbell and those fourth quarter calls, as well as with the new kickoff rules. Broder has highlighted this as well. What it means to be able to get that type of field advantage and have a guy like a Jake Bates that you can decide to kind of boot a long field goal with. But what do you think what impact do you believe kind of having these kickers, and whichever one arises, will have on Dan Campbell and his aggressiveness?
I don't want to see Dan Campbell be any different in terms of his decision making. Can you try a 64-yarder? Yes. Should you? Depends on the situation. Should you go for it? Yes. It's exciting. We all love it. Fans complain about it when it doesn't work, but when it does, everybody's a believer. And I think that's what makes football exciting. I mean, not fourth and 8 necessarily, but you have the card that tells you what you should do in those situations. I like those make or break. Here's the not necessarily the game on the line, but here's this drive. And you go win the game. That's the aggressiveness, and that's the change in the way the game is being played. Go win the game.
Go win the game.
All right, Rob, let me ask you one more question, then we'll get you out of here. This will be a quick Around Detroit sports. Casey Mize pitched last night for the Tigers, who continue to struggle offensively.
Did he know?
That's the thing. What do you think of Casey Mize? Like, are we putting too much pressure on him, or are we about to put too much pressure on him because he was the number 1 overall pick? It's still to be determined. Is he that top of the rotation guy or a middle to back of the rotation guy? It hasn't looked so great these last couple games. Do you think Casey Mize can return to that form, or he might be that top of the rotation guy?
And well, let's be clear too. It's not just Casey Mize.
Right.
Kenta Maeda hasn't been great either, and Tarek Skubal didn't have a good start the last time out. But it's a lot of pressure that's coming from the offense. We're not putting the pressure on us, and the onus isn't on us. It's on the bats. The bats have to score more than one run. You can't have 13 one game and then have a couple of games around it with one run. You've got to be pretty consistent at 3, 4, 5 because you're not going to win 1-0 games in the majors very often, especially with this lineup. So it really is it's putting pressure, it feels like, on the pitchers that they have to go out and pitch better because they know they're not going to get the run support to go along with it. Yeah. But Casey Mize is Casey Mize. I mean, we knew that he was going to be good. He had some potential, but injuries and everything else are slowing guys down. And if you're missing your spots, it's tough. And you're trying to miss in the bottom of the zone with the slider. And if that thing is up a couple of inches, then boom, it's a home run or it's a big extra base hit somewhere else. So it's a control thing. It's really on the offense. You need to get your other guys back up here. Parker Meadows has to be here. And we just had a story from Lynn Henning over the weekend on Parker Meadows and Torkelson and what they're doing at AAA. Those are the guys you need here. You can't have other guys that you weren't necessarily depending on to play those key positions and not have that impact at the plate. I think that's what they're really missing.
Yeah, that makes sense. No offense to Ryan Kreidler, but you need those guys. Even if you're figuring out your core, your foundation, you need Parker Meadows, Torkelson to at least contribute, not hit 090. Well, thanks for answering those questions, Rod. I loved all the Pistons talk you guys were having. Our next conversation, if you'll be here next Wednesday, not to commit you ahead of time, will be draft day. It'll be Wednesday of draft day. So.
Rod's favorite day of this Pistons season.
The NHL draft's later in the week. Can I also bring in a Wings question for Mr. Beard?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Definitely.
Sure.
Definitely.
Let it fly, Justin.
Definitely.
All right, fire.
So you said next week, right?
I mean, I have a question for him right now if you want, but I didn't know if we still have time. All right, all right.
Go ahead.
Rod,
do you have a minute, Rod? I know you normally get out here 9:20. You good for one question? All right, go for it.
Yeah, let's go. It's that dude asking the question. We're fine.
I appreciate it.
That dude from Rod Beard.
I know. That means all right, so there's a lot of moves kind of swarming for the Wings right now. There's a lot of talk about going after Nikias. There's a lot of talk about Line A, and then there's some free agents like Reinhart and Stamkos. Which one of those four moves would you say is the most intriguing and moves the needle the most for the Red Wings?
I think it's Stamkos. I think you want another veteran presence here, a proven scorer. And we saw last year that when you go out and get guys like that who bring experience, and this is the same thing we're talking about with the Pistons. When you get experienced vets in here, it helps to cultivate your roster a little bit better than having to get another young guy in here and develop him. I want to see a quicker turnaround. And obviously the Wings are a little bit closer than the Pistons are. So I think it's just the right pieces. And if you hit on this lottery ticket with Stamkos, I think you can get some good things done this year.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that because Stamkos, even though he's 34, he has no concerns in terms of playing full seasons. He's played back-to-back 81-game seasons, even with his kind of very slight injury history. So, and I've heard from DMAC that it's going to be a potential 2-year deal, which if that's the case, I'm completely game because if he's kind of regressing in the next 2 years, then you can hop off him in that free agency and then really add to this core when I believe our Stanley Cup window, which I would love to hear what you think our Stanley Cup window is. I think it's in 2 to 3 years. What is your thoughts on that?
I was going to say. I would say it's 2, and this is the other reason is you bring in another vet guy on a contract that doesn't hurt you, but it kind of you wait and see. You let him bet on himself for a little bit. If it works out, you can do an extension. But I think you're going to be right in that window in about 2 years. And it's the same thing we're saying. If you bring in more young guys, you're extending that window a little bit more. But can you get there in that same time frame? You're counting on a young guy to develop and be ready to play within a shorter time frame. That's a gamble, and you can't always do that.
Yep, and I completely agree. So thank you for your time. I'll have some more questions next week because I already have a couple brewing in my head. So we'll get into that next week. Thank you for your time.
Absolute legend. All 4 sports. All 4 sports. We didn't even brief him on these questions, man.
No.
Rod is his man. True professional. The consummate professional, Rod. Thank you, as always, for your time, legend.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, brother. Have a good day. Happy Juneteenth again. Oh, man. Shout out to Rod. Like, I'm so serious. Like, the fact that he gives us his time every single week. That was something that I was wondering about how to figure out. I know when KG started on Wednesdays, I was like, bro, you got to fill in for me so I can leave the morning show, get over to the podcast and with Rod and get back. He's been giving me his time for a couple years now, showing me the way of the land as it relates to covering a team professionally and just seeing his professionality, seeing the homework, seeing the kind of the passion. One thing I really love about Rod Beard is he listens to other people as well. And I think that to be a great journalist, that's something that you have to have. 100%. Be able to listen to others, be able to take from others that have come before you and done great things as well. And it's a cool thing, you know. Shout out to my guy Leland Stein as well. I know you guys got to meet him as well. One of the most prolific, in my opinion, sports journalists we have, not just in this state, but in this country as well. And I hear guys like him talk really, really, really big. And Terry Foster, the legend, another legend of a journalist, talk about Rod Beard and the way he does. It's cool to see it happen in real time as well. So I'm grateful that we get him on.
Just like what you said, A Diz 411 said, did Rod do his homework? And immediately Ryan's reaction says, no, Rod is the homework.
Bars. I like that, man.
Cool. Tell them about Swiss Insurance. We're going to come back. We're going to play Wake and Rank.
Wank and Rank?
Yeah. Not Wank.
No.
Wake.
No.
Like what?
Wake and Rank.
I had to make sure I got
Wake
it right on
and
the
dank?
back wall. Okay, Wake and Rank. I got it right. Now more than ever, it is
Like a
critical
good
for you to
wake
have
and
your insurance reviewed.
Yep. Good luck with this, Reed.
Yeah, have fun with this.
Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier. Oh gosh.
Sound like Ryan already up there.
Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in any extra fees
No Diddy.
or raising deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today. That number is 313-530-1698. Again, word to our brother Flannel Sam. We can't wait to have you back. 313-530-1698. Or visit them online, SwissINS.com, and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Take that.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hi, hold on.
Stroky's Crispy Chicken and Pizza is taking over Michigan. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. They're going to double their number of restaurants this year, known for their quality, hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders that KG told us yesterday were amazing.
Oh, Fire.
They got sandwiches, New York-style pizza, dips, fries. They want you to come enjoy the delicious heat. So be sure to stop in a mega station near you or go to www.sorokis.com.
Sorry, bro.
News is breaking like crazy right now.
Breaking news. Adrian Wojnarowski. The Pistons, after one season, have dismissed coach Monty Williams, who leaves with 5 years and $65 million plus left on his new deal. New president Trajan Langdon will move to make his own coaching hire now, which to me shows that he has the power. We wanted some type of sign to see what this front office structure would be and if things would be different than before. And they're showing us that Trajan Langdon has the power. His coach, his GM, his way. And they're doing this right before the draft. This is going to be something wild, crazy, and interesting. I see why they're holding off on the press conferences. They're like, Trajan, cook, and then answer.
Wow.
And they just hired somebody that worked under Monty for a long time in Fred Vincent that almost, I thought, confirmed that he was staying. That's wild.
Ruthless.
Can we get Rod back on the line?
Yeah,
can we get Rod back on the line?
We literally just had Rod on and this happens. That's wild, man.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow. Hey, you know what? Shout out to Shad as well. I saw it first from you in the chat. So I definitely want to make sure that I say shout out to you. And then obviously social media is just starting to buzz about it. What an amazing development.
Let's talk about this.
What an amazing development.
Hey, Tom Gores, that's $60 million that he has to eat now. In a 1 year failure of a project, man. Oh my God.
This is amazing.
If this is the decision that Trajan wants, good for Tom Gores, good for this organization for going all in and doing it.
Yeah.
Like, and this just hit, so like I know we're all wrapping our thoughts around it, but like Kool-Aid said, Trajan's got the power. This proves he's got the power, at least some influence. Yeah. And it takes, whether you're a gazillionaire or not, to just pay someone $60 million to go away. That's you got to think that's not just chump change.
Yeah. But what I want to see is
we wish Chris would do this.
Yeah.
That driver says
That's why I tell people from an aspect of an owner. I like what Tom Gores potential brings to the table. It's just a matter of making sure you have the exact right people in your front office to take the best advantage of. Hopefully, Trajan Langdon is that guy who you can believe in what he's saying. You can believe in what he's bringing to the table. A lot of people, they didn't really like what Monty Williams was able to do with the young players. And none of us really hid that. Everybody was really confused on what was going on with Jaden Ivey, the handling of Asar Thompson, the lack of putting what I believe to be some of these young players in their best position to succeed. Like I've talked about it on the Woodward Pistons podcast. I've asked questions about it in the press conferences as well about putting Asar Thompson in pick and rolls, putting Asar Thompson in like what he was having success with early in the season was picks and rolls, cuts, rim dives, and things of that nature. It just seemed like they kind of relegated him more to just this outside, you need to be able to shoot type of guy. And I thought that it took something away from the Pistons offense a little bit. Even Jalen Duren, I didn't necessarily see the advancement and development in his game over this season that I wanted to see from an offensive player or a defensive player. So when these are your young players who you're drafting with top 5 talent, you're hoping that these are the guys that can lead your team, and I just haven't seen that. And Monty Williams openly walked into this thing during training camp and stated, hey, look, guys, I'm not used to coaching a team like this. So maybe it signals that a few of these young players are coming back. You know, obviously what this meant for Jaden Ivey. I feel bad for what Jaden Ivey went through the last season. I really do, because who knows where he and Kay would have been by mid-season if they could have started the year playing together and building up this chemistry for really the first time in their careers. This was the first time in their careers that they really got to play together, and it really got stifled at the beginning because Monty Williams and the way that he chose to assess things. So
and you are right. And like you said, he kind of foreshadowed this, man. He told us, hey, I'm not used to coaching teams like this. And when he was brought in, it kind of seemed like maybe he didn't exactly want to do the job, but he was made an offer that he just couldn't refuse. We all know the things that he was going through in his personal life and things of that nature. So he took the job. And he came into a team that was kind of in disarray. He walked into a shit show, for lack of better words. And he's just not used to coaching teams this young. Like, he's better with ready-made teams. I still don't think Monty Williams is a bad coach, but like you said, in terms of just what he did with some of the lineups and the treatment of some of the young players, you can tell that he wasn't fully prepared for everything that he was walking into. So, I mean, I wish him the best of luck. I don't think he's a bad coach still. I think he just kind of got the crap end of the stick, but he took the job.
I think that he helped to create, though, some of the storm. I don't think he walked into it. I like the direction that they were going in, and I believe that if Troy Weaver was given the power to be able to build around the scene the way he wanted to, like we know, and there's been reports from national people who stated Jeremy Grant was a Troy Weaver guy and that Arntelem didn't want him here. And what they do, they made a swap to take our best defensive player, our best two-way player, out of here. Troy would have had Jeremy Grant here long term, and now we're sitting here trying to find that type of player to add to this Pistons squad. While meanwhile, Bojan Bogdanovic has only declined. And so it's just like, you know, when Monty got here, he kind of disrupted where things were headed.
Really?
Well, yeah, because think about it. If this was on Troy, you think Jaden Ivey is not starting?
Well, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So Monty Williams was hired directly by the owner, so he had a certain power, and they instantly suspended their free agency. We were talking to him earlier in the season, Troy Weaver, and the notion was that this free agency they were going to spend. After Monty Williams is hiring, the statement from the organization, not just from Troy, but also Arm, was that they weren't going to spend. They needed to see what fit Monty Williams' style. So you spent the whole year historically losing, handcuffing whoever in the front office just to assess this team, to try and build it to Monty Williams' specifications, just to broom him out. Do I still believe he's a good coach in a situation and setting that fits him? I definitely do. Yeah. I can't look at what he's just done here and then dismiss everything he's done.
He's better with ready-made teams.
Yeah. But it's just how ironic that you spent the year saying, you know what, we're going to pause free agency, we're going to spend the year assessing, and then we're going to spend money next year to fit this team to what we see and like and know about Monty Williams and have this chemistry and this synergy with him, and now he's gone. It's like, wow, is this a sign that maybe Trajan Langdon is starting completely over and that this thing may take 3, 4, 5 years? Or is it a sign that he wants this thing to move a little bit faster, and you know what? We need the right people in place to be able to do that. Because it's not an easy thing. We see that.
It's not.
This is interesting.
A week before the draft, or almost 2 weeks before the draft, that's nuts, man.
I got some
crazy
reactions from the chat. reactions from the chat. Tony D says, "Oh, this must have been after the it must have been after the Soroki's." He says, "Fire chicken like Monty." Ryan's reactions: "I have goosebumps, full body goosebumps." Super Juggernaut 87, Detroit for the win. Mitten Maid says, "Glorious." Art Vandelay, "Had to be done. We need a full rebuild from the top down." Ellen W says, "The best day of my life." Hey, Trajan Langdon, "I'm pouring honey on you, goat." Brendan Harris, here's an interesting point. This time last year, Monty Williams was the man.
Yeah.
Like, think about how times have changed. RJ Graham says, "Great morning, Detroit." Says, "Bring home Chauncey Billups."
Yes.
Yeah. Who?
Yes.
Who do you think Trajan wants to lead this team now? What coach do you feel like fits his agenda?
I'm not sure now. And that was one of the things that, Rod Beard talked about. If you're going to get rid of Amani Williams, who you're going to have in place. But if you're getting rid of Amani Williams, you have somebody in place. Obviously, people that have ties to the Pistons historically are guys like Chauncey Billups and guys like Jerry Stackhouse, who is no longer at Vanderbilt. He got more cozy and comfortable with the Detroit Pistons organization over the last few years. We've had him in this studio. He's done things directly with Pistons. He's worn his teal and all of that type of stuff. And so that is a guy that intrigues me and interests me. When the Pistons had this coaching vacancy before, Jerry Stackhouse was a guy that I was saying I would love to see here. I thought, hey, with his kind of proximity to college players, being a college coach, his ability to kind of know the development process, be able to help understand their lingo and help them transition to the NBA lingo and such. I thought, you know what? And he's a former NBA player at a high level. Maybe he's the perfect guy to have here. Yeah. Chauncey Billups was one of those guys who stated he doesn't necessarily want to deal with a young team. And then Portland went and did what? Saddled him with a young team. This wasn't what he wanted to do either. So I like a Chauncey in theory, but what type of team are they going to put on the floor for Chauncey Billups that meshes with who he is? And when you talk about his legacy overall, you want to make sure that he's a guy that's stepping into something that he can be the complete driver of as a coach.
Yeah. So, also, do you think that this gives any credence to Trajan having full power now? I remember you brought up a few days ago that they're leaning towards a more traditional power structure to where Trajan can report directly to Tom Gores.
Yep.
Do you think this was a product of that, and maybe they are moving in a direction where Trajan is going to be the sole voice of what happens with this team?
I'm starting to think both of them are. I really am. And when you look at the way that press release was for a Troy Weaver, this wasn't a situation where you get the feeling that the owner of the squad was disappointed in what Troy Weaver was. They put, these are his accomplishments. Hey, we offered him another role within the organization. So this to me would be, hey, Trajan, you got the power to make whatever decision you make that you want to make, because why would Trajan come here if he doesn't get that?
That's true.
Rod and I talked about that. We talked about, you know what, Troy should have been somebody who demanded that power before he got here.
That's true.
So Trajan now looking at this from the outside looking in, no matter what your connections are to the organization or to the Tellums, you're probably saying, I need that power. And if it just so happens to be somebody that Tom Gores likes, it just so happens to be somebody that Tom Gores likes. We know that Tom Gores was the one who really made the push to go out there and hire Amani Williams. But if Trajan Langdon is now the person who's able to come in and say, you know what, we need to move in a different direction, I do believe it's showing and proving that Trajan Langdon is the one with the power. You look at a Troy Weaver, he wasn't allowed as GM to hire his own coach.
That's crazy.
Trajan Langdon is now going to have the opportunity to hire his own coach and to hire his own general manager. So, and he's made the firings. So it's proving. He's made some coaching hirings already.
Yeah.
So it's proving. It's already proving right now that Trajan Langdon might be the guy with the master plan in his hand.
That is crazy.
What about this one from Mark Covington? Sam Cassell will be the new head coach of the Pistons. Mark it down.
You know what? I'm not mad at that either. I like Sam Cassell.
Yeah.
It definitely has been kind of going through the rounds as an assistant coach as well. I like him. I got to do some more research on him, but I like him. What up, though, JB?
I just got to say, man, I might be a fan of Trajan Langdon. Damn, a press conference and anything all like that we're still waiting for right now.
Got a press conference.
But
after a press conference, I'm working.
Right? Yeah, he's over there working. He's like, screw this press conference. I'm trying to get shit done over here. I'm over here in the fast lane trying to get shit done. But, man, to fire Monty Williams on Juneteenth well too. Like this is the epitome of what this is the epitome of what Friday is for Craig. You got fired on your day off.
He really got fired.
You got fired on your day off. Come on.
That's crazy.
I didn't think about that.
You done fired a brother on Juneteenth.
Think about that. John F. and Lord says, "What about Rod for coach?"
Rod Beard.
Rod Beard.
Oh, Rod,
coach,
dealing
GM,
with that.
president of basketball operations. Hey, listen, Rod Beard.
I just
Real
like
quick,
to say,
my famous, and then I'll come to you. My favorite reaction to all this. before we went to break, I saw this comment before we went to break. A respectful jab. David Cabell. He says, please stop talking Pistons till they make some moves. Less than 5 minutes later, we come out of the break. Good man, David Cabell. He says, now that's a good move. That's what I'm talking about.
So we now have your blessing to talk.
Yeah.
Even though Troy Weaver did get fired, even though they did bring in Fred Vincent, even though they did bring in J.R. Holden, even though they now are linked to multiple players that all season we've discussed saying, hey, we want the Pistons to be able to look at these guys. I told y'all all year the Pelicans were going to be an organization to keep an eye on as it relates to the relationship with the Detroit Pistons. They already had connections together. They had already had talks in the past. We told you guys, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. Keep your ear to the ground as it relates to a Brandon Ingram type of player, or maybe some of their secondary players on the Pelicans. Who knew we would wind up, though, with their president, with our new president of basketball operations from the Pelicans front office, as well as a couple other support staff and positional coaches as well, coming to the Detroit Pistons organization, and then going to getting J.R. Holden from the Brooklyn Nets organization. Another team that the Detroit Pistons have been in conversation with over the past couple seasons. Can't wait.
Look at one of you guys read it.
Oh, Ryan's reaction. Oh my gosh, $4.99 super chat.
That's crazy.
I'm not touching that. Go ahead.
I can't even read that.
Ryan's reaction always remember on Juneteenth that Trajan freed Monty.
Oh my
The cat with the glasses too.
He ain't lying, man.
That's wild.
Oh my gosh.
What the hell?
You know what's crazy? Troy Weaver's hired. Charles Lee got hired to be head coach.
Really?
So it's just Charles Lee, Kevin Ali. These are some of the guys that he was looking at
in Brooklyn
during that time. So it's man. It's so many different avenues of what could have been with this organization. I'm glad that they're centralizing power now.
Yeah.
For the fans, I hope it's not too little, too late. Obviously, the organization has to do what they have to do. If it's a 3 to 5 year route, it is what it is.
Yeah.
If it's something more accelerated, that's something I know would definitely jive with a lot of the supporters hanging on by a thread.
It needed to be done. We needed a complete regime change. That's why when they held on to Troy, I was kind of questioning, like, why would you do this, man? Even if you did want to hang on to him just around the media surrounding this team and everything that happened, I didn't think that was a good play. But he's coming in. We got a new sheriff in town, man. We do.
Definitely.
Got a new sheriff
Let's
in town.
take a quick break. Let this simmer. We'll come back. We're probably going to keep talking about this, at least during mailbag. So we'll take a minute here. Come on right back as we finish out the show here. Kool-Aid, tell them about Dr. Pierce.
I will. And look, attention sports fans, don't miss out on Expert Sports Injury Insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. You can catch him, man, every Tuesday during Big D Energy and Thursday during Armani and Edwards, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that D-Mac does. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at RandyWiseBuickGMC.com.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations, so there's got to be a Feldman dealership close by to wherever you live. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find that location nearest you and catch us there once a month out at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi. They are Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Man, breaking news. Monty Williams is out. And Adrian Wojnarowski, as via him, he added onto his report that the decision was made at the ownership level. Woo. So it just continues to add these layers. Like was Trajan Langdon in on this? Because he was. They said he would have all the power.
That's interesting.
It is.
Optically, like we'll learn all the details. I think Shad sent us to Shams, or was it Woj? Basically confirm this came from ownership. Could this be Tom Gore's kind of a shielding Trajan Langdon from this being his first move? Or would it look better, Trajan Langdon coming in and scorching the earth, like making a statement move like this? You know what I'm saying?
I can see it. I would hope that this decision is made with at least some type of consultation with Trajan Langdon as a GM, because what if he believed, hey, Monty Williams is that guy? Yeah. But you're instantly coming in and doing the same thing that you did to Troy Weaver, and that's kind of undercut their positions on this squad where they're supposed to be the decision makers for your team. So I would hope that this is something where, you know what, they at least discussed it, they talked about it, that this thing is something that's going to move in a direction that fits more of Trajan Langdon's vision, and that Tom Gores is just supporting that, and like you said, maybe making sure to keep that off of a Trajan Langdon record and really just let this be about what he does to build moving forward.
Yeah, Devin Ellis says, now I can finally get behind this team, wipe the slate clean, and truly build this team the right way. Gores, get out the way and let this man do his job, build around Cade. Yeah.
That's it right there. And it's interesting, all the different rumors we've heard, confirmed rumors from confirmed sources or whatnot, or via sources that they want to retain Cade here long term. And so it's interesting to see all of the other moves that's happened since.
Yeah.
I know Cade Cunningham at the exit interview said he wants to be here. Yeah. At the exit interviews, he also said he wants to be able to have some say-so and what goes on within the front office.
Kiazi, so about these Pistons, when Detroit sports start to have success, it comes because of a formula. Hire a former player in the personnel group, and that's when the success will begin, in my opinion. And a few comments above, bada bing, bada boom, says Zion will be a Piston and Chauncey will be the coach.
It's a lot of optimism.
Right? Hey, you know what? I'm not going to crop anybody's optimism. Yeah. It's some of the best things we can think of as it relates to what the Pistons have given us. It's just our optimistic hopes, our optimistic dreams and ways to make the team better, as well as what we've historically gotten from them, because the current team, it's been down for a long time, even in the mediocre years, even during the buffoonery years, even during the years where we got kind of the retread of Chauncey Billups coming back, Ben Wallace coming back, Tayshaun Prince coming back. Even during the years that they made playoffs, we knew that there was no hope beyond that. We knew, okay, at least we made it finally, because we've been just this 8th seed, this 9th or 10th seed for so many years in a row. Hey, at least we finally made the playoffs. I'm hoping moving forward, though, that this organization, that this team, they're able to kind of take a lot of this optimism and put it into reality. They have to. That's what we all want the Trajan Langdon hire to represent. And hopefully, this firing of Monty, I'm going to continue to reiterate this, I'm hoping that this is something that they kind of consulted about with, or at least got some input from Trajan Langdon on what his vision moving forward is and what that might look like, and maybe ownership move to make the ultimate decision.
You would have to think so, especially with, how Trajan has operated to this point. When he first kind of got announced as the PBO, we were all talking about the delay with the press conference and things of that nature. Then Troy Weaver ended up being the first domino to fall. And I remember saying at the time that maybe he was like, hey, maybe we need to do something about Troy before I officially come out and be announced. Troy falls. Then he hires some more people to the staff. We're still waiting on the press conference. We're so close to the NBA draft. And now this is the next domino to fall. You got to think that Trajan had some type of say-so. And then you also brought up Cade as well. Did Cade maybe not want Monty to be a part of the process going forward as well? Maybe he made a comment to ownership, and maybe they all came together and colluded. Well, I don't want to say colluded, but all came together and kind of realized that this is probably...
No, that's a great question. Our Vandalay said in the chat, wonder if Cade was asked about Monty before he signs his deal. Or before this decision was made.
Yeah.
Do you think this team operates like that yet? Or do you think Cade they operate like that with Cade? Like,
if you're signing Cade to a max deal, he needs to be somebody whose voice you consult.
Absolutely.
Because you're talking about this guy being not just the face of your franchise, but the guy on whom you're winning in your hopes and that other players in the league are going to trust as well. And so this is a situation that if you do ask a Cade, I would hope you would, because it's about having your teammates back. And if that coach isn't right, your head player, your lead player, who's also your point guard, your playmaker, your distributor, the person who's your leader on and off the court, they would know that. I don't know what Cade Cunningham's personal feelings are on Monty Williams, so I don't want to insinuate that. But same with Trajan Langdon. I would hope with a guy like Cade Cunningham, who you're tying the future of your franchise to if you give him that max, it's somebody that is consulted.
Cool. What about this? How do you feel? This is Alan W. mailbag. How do you feel about Chris Quinn as the next head coach? And this is on your first reaction, so I'm not going to hold you to any of these statements. We'll break it down more tomorrow, Friday.
I mean, I want to do a little bit more homework.
Yeah.
I'm not against coaches with promise, and Chris Quinn is one of those guys, but I want to do a little bit more homework on Chris Quinn.
Got you. Edge, Nate Edgington says mailbag. Is this equivalent to firing Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn?
I mean, you're looking at the GM of the team. You're looking at kind of the person who coaches the team. I believe that it is. You guys who thought that they had a way, but it was interesting because Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia, they came in and they were supposedly working together, and they didn't have any opposition from the front office. Their opposition came when Sheila came and said, even still, I will still give you guys some time. We will assess, and then she ultimately made her decision. With this, with Monty and Troy, I never got the feeling that they were ever on the same page, ever. And I never got the feeling that this front office is in lockstep and in sync with what they should do. Even down to the weird press conference where kind of the energy or the negative energy between Tom Gores and Troy Weaver spilled out at the press conference of Monty Williams, where he basically said, yeah, there was some screaming, some yelling, there was some good moments, there was some business being, we're trying to make sure we all want the Pistons to be better. Right. So I think that's Monty Williams. So that's the direction that the team went in. So it's man, this is
that's wild, man.
This is it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Cool. Rando Smalls asked, do you think Trajan Langdon has a plan in coach and draft pick already?
I would hope that there's a plan. With these types of moves, you dismiss a GM, you dismiss a coach. Unless your plan is to just wait this thing out for 4 to 5 years with the rebuild, take all your time making all of these types of decisions and assessing these things. I would assume that he already has his eyes set on some people for coach and GM.
Yeah. Do you think, and I see conflicting statements. I've heard multiple things. JJ Redick is going to be the head coach in LA. It's just not official yet. Right. Obviously, Dan Hurley turned it down.
Crazy.
Do you think Monty could be in consideration for that? Do you think Dan Hurley should be consideration for the Pistons job? Why would he leave UConn? But with this whole little coaching triangle that's happening now, is there anything we can take from this? Like, could Monty end up in LA, or is this way too soon to even speculate?
He didn't want to coach these young guys, let alone 1 year of LeBron in the media circus of Bronny, all that's going to bring, and being in the pressure cooker with Rob Pelinka. I don't think
that's going to drive him over the edge.
Exactly. Yeah, he doesn't seem like he would take that job. Would they consider him? Absolutely. But
and his family too, his son and whatnot. Like, just the one thing you get being on the beat is you get, and there are different levels to that as well. Shout out to our traveling beat reporters who get, obviously the most access. I got more access this season than I did my first two, and I was able to be in practices. I was kind of able to be in some of their intimate moments. I was doing some content there and having Monty Williams just kind of video bomb me in the middle of some content and such. And you're able to see, like, sometimes his son is there and whatnot, and you could tell that matters to him at the press conference. His family matters a lot to him. And it was really the theme of everything at his opening press conference. Yeah. And so I do believe that when they're making a decision about where to go, the community does matter. When they did come to Detroit, they did say that the community mattered, but obviously that contract matters a whole lot too.
Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom says, mailbag, is there any coach that would be enough to lure any top free agents to Detroit because they would want to play for him? And again, if you gotta think about that.
Any head coach? I don't see it personally.
Can I throw out a candidate that I feel like ain't been talked about, and now that Monty's gone, maybe we can't talk about it?
Talk about it.
Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel, he's out here. I don't think he's in contention for any jobs going forward. He's got an NBA championship. He has experience coaching up a young roster with that Pacers team during the 2010s. I think Frank Vogel would be a great fit for this team, but I don't hear his name a lot. Is there a reason for that?
Maybe there's some things that I gotta kind of look back into it in terms of maybe the fit or the style that he would be as a coach with these guys here in Detroit. But I'm not against a proven coach. It would be silly of us. This isn't even a beggars and choosers. Beggars can't be choosers thing. This is Frank Vogel. I think it's a great point by you. He is a qualified certified NBA head coach. So I'm not against things like that. And who knows? If you're getting rid of a proven coach in Amani Williams, who was proven everywhere else before he got to Detroit, maybe their eyes are set on something like
True.
that.
I just can't see them moving to a rookie coach from this spot. If you got rid of Monty, he was a veteran, experienced coach with, playoff history. I just don't see them moving to a guy that's never had a job before. But that's just me. I could be wrong.
With you. Obviously, all of us could be wrong, and that's the one thing that I've gotten more and more comfortable within this is being comfortable in our own space of opinion. If you get things wrong, let's talk about it because we all do. I'm not a soothsayer or future, teller.
Right.
My job is to make sure I report to you directly, unadulteratedly, what the organization is saying. So we can have a real conversation and really leave a lot of hypotheticals to our own opinions. You know what I mean? So just kind of speaking on it, it's like, I definitely see and I get where your mind is at with a Frank Vogel type of player. I'm hoping the organizations is too.
One thing I am seeing in the comments, Juwan Howard, that's a no-go, chat. We can drop the
Y'all about
Juwan
to get Flannel
waiting to say that.
Sam. Y'all about to get Flannel Sam to leave his vacation.
I swear. Juwan Howard, come on.
This call will break down on the way, man.
What about Dwayne Casey? Is that back on the table or?
I don't know. Listen. Dwayne Casey's another one of those guys who I don't understand the slander for a guy like a Dwayne Casey. I just don't. The players loved him. The players at the kind of the exit interviews where they gave him the farewell, they're right in the room, Troy Weaver and whatnot. The players spoke glowingly about Dwayne Casey. I don't believe that that's the direction or the route they would go. It was head coach. Obviously, you guys know me. You know the connection I have with him. I would not mind seeing that at all with the Dwayne Casey.
What about this?
Probably want a guy with a little bit more modern offensive philosophy.
What about this? We've been talking about point guards a lot today. Help alongside Cade. With Cade's development, Ashton, the trainer, says, what about Steve Nash?
No.
That was a quick no.
I'm good on. I just don't know if he has the type of cachet to take a job like this. I mean, he walked into
what happened in Brooklyn, though.
He walked into a ready-made situation with 3 of the biggest stars of this decade.
Also the biggest mess of this decade. That was the absolute biggest joke show in Brooklyn ever, even though they are 3 of the best.
Would he be better with a younger team? Yes, but I don't know if this situation necessarily breeds success for him. That's all I'm saying.
He's almost, I'd say, a first-time head coach.
So
it's like, is that the right fit? We had that conversation about Kevin Ollie last year. Like, is it time for a first-time head coach or a young head coach who Kevin Ollie, did he coach the G League Ignite or one of the G League teams?
Kevin Ollie, he was actually like the head of talent there and the head of coaching, actually.
So he had
player
a
development
relationship. He had the cachet, speaking to those guys. That's an interesting thought. I might as well roll this for another minute or two. Just a fan says,
Ashton suggested that one.
Can I throw something out there real quick?
Shout out Ashton the trainer, man.
Shout out Ashton the trainer.
And also shout out Tom Gorst, because unlike some other owners in this town, he actually paid up to fix his mistake and, cough, DFA Javi Baez, cough. That's all. You know what? Want to throw that in real quick.
Shout out Ashton the trainer, too. I see you in the chats. My brother, he has supported our platform for a while. He has supported Woodward Pistons and a lot of other. Y'all got to understand. These guys have supported a lot of content creators and a lot of media here. A lot of people trying to kind of get their footing and get on. Shout out to those guys. I will always have love for them. And then you guys already know, I speak about what they do around this state to be able to give back, not just here, but also in their hometown, Kate's hometown in Texas as well. It's an awesome thing that these guys do. And I'm appreciative for who you guys are as people and as supporters. Thank you so much. I got to make sure I put that on record. And he said trust in Tom, too. I see Ashton Trainer in the chat. He said trust in Tom. Wow. And you're right. I believe, I've been saying this, I've written some articles on it, that I believe Tom Gorst is the right type of owner. You just have to identify the right type of front office that you can trust their decisions. Because he's proven, look, I will open up the pocketbooks. If he feels like something's not working, he's not afraid to go and make that change and make that move. He is relying more on his front offices more. That's something he wasn't doing or wasn't necessarily associated with him early on in his ownership. And so if you get the right people in here, I do believe you got the right type of owner to see this thing through. I do. I love it. And shout out to Ashton one more time.
Yeah, big shout out, man.
I love it.
NBA trainer, brother.
Shashak Subramanian. He's been dropping some good comments, but I got to go back to a kind of a funny one. He says, got to go get Buzelis. The last time we drafted a tall white European kid in the lottery, we won a championship the next year.
Yeah, but the player we picked, though, I mean, come on with that one.
Oh, come on, Melo.
Yeah. We're a little further than that.
Yeah.
Championship.
And Shaw saying, I think he said, is this actually Ashton the trainer or a burner account, though? This is the actual Ashton the trainer. He's been a supporter here. When I had like 30 people in the chats, maybe 15, Ashton the trainer was one of those people early on with Woodward Pistons. He stuck it through with us. And shout out to him. He said 100. Love, family. Keep grinding, fellas. We tuned in every day. I remember the first interview we had Ashton trainer on. It's crazy because I was just watching the clips. And I remember he told us afterwards, like, yo, Kay was right there off screen. And it did, man, you talk about having this passion. And we've all talked about our passion for covering sports. Having that was just one of those pinnacle moments, and it helped to propel us forward. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to the support you guys for staying tapped in.
Yeah, I haven't met Ashton the trainer. I feel the respect you guys have for him and everything that they're doing. I'm going to use him as an example to give you props of just staying diligent and covering the Pistons. It's been some dark times. It's been a difficult couple of years, and every time we talk Pistons in the chat, it started to diminish, but there's people saying, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. But you stayed diligent to it and kept up. And look what happens. Breaking news happens. Where did he come? He came to your show, Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir.
To make his comment. And I think that's just a microcosm of building a community. You built the Woodward Pistons and I haven't been talking about them for the last 4 years. You have, when everyone wanted you to talk about Lions. And not Tigers, not Red Wings. But you know what I'm saying? So that's a microcosm. You're building a community. Says why we talk about them when they're struggling. They're one of our 4 teams. Like we are the Pistons. Like this is what it's all about. There are better times ahead. We hope it's this year. We hope it's as soon as possible. But you're going to get consistent Pistons coverage from us every step of the way.
Yes, we take it seriously. We go professionally. I am encouraged by everybody else's work here too. I'm going to always be about our team first, team first, team first. I do this because of what Woodward Sports is as a platform, and that's what all of you guys make it, including you, chat family. This has been dope, and I appreciate
more to talk about. Like this, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow, and then we got the draft Wednesday. We're going over pick number 3, or our top 3 at 5, number 3.
I'm looking forward to an off-season kickoff show too. This will be my first year doing it with really all Woodward Sports personalities. Before it was kind of our Woodward Pistons Table Talk members, and I do want to do something to honor them because they had something to do as well with make sure that platform got off too.
Absolutely.
So definitely, man. Look, and just so you know, when this platform was being talked about, Broder was a guy who advocated to have some Pistons love in this thing as well. He knows my passion for it. I know he likes talking hoops too, and everybody else on the squad as well who helped to kind of keep the Woodward Pistons Wednesday thing going and make Detroit Pistons coverage. Because I'm telling you, we cover it for real, man. We're on the ground level. And one of my favorite games out of any of these seasons, and I know we've seen some wins, was when I got to be in the building with my guys, credentialed up, walking through the tunnels.
Let's go.
Seeing the 014 walk right past us, meeting some legends in the media, getting down on the court and all that type of stuff. So I love that type of stuff, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat family.
Chat family is goated, says Eric Burrow.
Yes.
Oh, man, I'm excited to see some comments. It's nice. There's overall, it's weird. Now, weird's not the right word. Someone gets fired, and you don't want to disrespect them, but it's good to see, especially in the chat. There's a resurgence of energy. All right, we got the draft in a week. Let's go. We got some excitement. Exactly. Things are happening. Trajan Langdon's doing things.
It needed to happen.
It did. So I'm excited. Hey, what a show! Great job, Kool-Aid. Way to cover today.
Great job, you guys, man. Like I love it. I love the segment with Rod Beard as well. Shout out to Rod Beard, I guess. Where we were able to ask him and kind of pepper him with questions from all 4 sports teams, and it was dope. Shout out to Justin as well, man. You bring a lot to our program. We really pride ourselves, as all of our other shows, on making sure we can cover all these sports teams. And I like the fact that a lot of our hosts, 1 of us, 2 of us, are knowledgeable, like really knowledgeable, to almost to an expert level in one of these major 4 pro sports teams. So I like what you bring to the table, Red Wings. We used to be up here, and Flano is our guy, and he's really good at that too, but glad to have you along for the ride.
I appreciate that so
Last
much.
comment. Ryan's reaction, Kool-Aid. This is a sign of the size of Trajan's weenus.
Weenus makes a return.
Check this out.
Let's go.
Let's get this little trespass chat.
Go. Once again, fire shirt over here by Mr. Broder. This has been it's been a show, man. It's been a show. You talk about some breaking news.
That broke.
Monty Williams is out. That's following the firing of Troy Weaver.
Yeah.
So Trajan Langdon said, press conference, just let a brother work.
All right.
Just let me work. So, hey, listen, shout out to him. Shout out to ownership as well. It's been reported that Tom Gores and the ownership group actually made this decision. So, interesting times ahead for the Detroit Pistons. Hey, the offseason kickoff just got that much more interesting. So, you guys stay tapped in next Wednesday. All day is really Pistons. We got Woodward Pistons Wednesday for the show. Then we got the offseason kickoff starting with the draft coverage. We do one every single year. It's going to be epic because I'm rocking with the Woo Crew this year.
Woo Crew?
So let's break this thing down. Shout out to Flannel Sam, my brother. We love you, man. Hope that you are enjoying your vacation with your family and whatnot, man. I can't wait to have you back. Shout out to our sixth man of the squad, that dude, Justin. Fire, bro.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. And shout out to you guys. Shout out. Great day. See you later, Monty. And we will hopefully have more than 14 wins next season.
Just slow clap. That's all I can do. I hope, man. I just want to cover some exciting Pistons basketball. Let's shout out to our elite, our wonderful, stupendous, illustrious, magnificent booth, man. On this wonderful Juneteenth day, shout out to KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick, a.k.a. Black Hollywood, a.k.a. Morpheus is in the building.
Morpheus with hair.
Morpheus with
Let's
hair.
preface that. I'm not a bald head, but shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Great show today. Big news, man. Happy Juneteenth to all my brothers and sisters out there. And yeah, man, let's keep this shit rolling.
Let's rock. Shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth. That is JBSMOOOOOV.
Hey, today's not even over yet, but I feel like Ice Cube. Today was a good day.
Damn right.
Hey. Shout out to everyone celebrating on this Juneteenth day. And Justin, I might have a job for you as well, too. I think we need to start working on those tit tees and cocaine white, as they say in the chat over here.
What?
Yeah, trust in Tom.
Hey!
Tit tees, baby, coming soon.
I like that, man. Hey, and you know what? In the spirit and the honor of Tom Gores, we could just come in just throwing a t-shirt at each other, man. Definitely, man. T-shirt Tom. I like that. Tit tees. Let's rock, man.
I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet. Trust in time, but I like tits though. I do like tits. But
also got a masturbates shirt on the way as well.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, I love what we got going on here, man.
At the picture of what that graphic is going to be on that shirt.
Yeah,
that's a to be determined. I don't know yet. It's kind of difficult.
A nice long leg. How about that?
By the way, Shawshank Submarinian. Give USA Cricket a shout out. Made it to the World Cup Super 8. Taking on the West Indies in 20 minutes. Shout out Team USA Cricket.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cricket.
Well, you know what? This is our credential, Tigers and Lions reporter and writer, Matt Broderick, and he does a good job with making sure that these shows are lined up the right way, man. Thank you for all your work, brother.
You bet. Change up coming in hot, boys.
That's right. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Detroit Pistons writer and reporter. Got some work to do now. Hey, this has been Wake Up Woodward. Smash, satisfy that like button on the way out, man. If you haven't already, if you have encouraged someone else to do the same. Thank you guys, man. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yep. Shout out to you, Dante.
Let's fucking go. Monty Williams fired. He is out of here. Let's go. God, the worst Pistons season ever. Monty Williams is not in the right headspace to be the head coach of the Detroit Pistons. We saw 28 straight losses last season. We have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson. We have young talent. It was not fitting together. Monty Williams gone. Let's go. I have never been more excited for somebody to be fired in my life. New president of basketball operations takes out Troy Weaver, takes out Monty Williams. Let's go. Come on. It's a good day to be a Piston fan. Come on.